party. And that'll give up first blood to PSG.LGD.
Yeah, and Collapse isn't out of the woods quite yet. Is hungry.
In a bit of an awkward position now, Collapse. Stuck behind the tree line. We'll see how he gets his way out of it. He does have a TP, a little short in the mana. He'll have it back up now. Should be able to walk his way back ground, but a great bit of aggression there from PSG.LGD, just opening up some space for Arme to return to farming.
Yeah, absolutely. And you notice that LGD are keeping the lane control up top, so this puts Tide under constant pressure, and you never know when they might make some sort of move and try to kill him. And that forces Mira to stay in the top lane. While if you look at Y, you notice that he's just rotating around constantly. He has the freedom to move wherever he wants on the map, because the lane is so pushed out by the way that the Naga plays, and the Riptide shoving out the creeps, so the Lycan can freely farm under his tower, and the Disruptor has the freedom to decide what he wants to do.
Let's see what that call's going to be. We'll come in mid here. TorontoTokyo taking a bit of harassment on the Thunderstrike, nothing to say. Stepping right up to him. There's a remnant at the ready though, TorontoTokyo.
2 seconds.
He's got the protection here of the Resonant Pulse.
And great usage there of that armor. He uses the health damage of Resonant Pulse to bottle up to make sure that he's not within the kill range of the Swashbuckle from Pango.
Oh, some good early pressure though from PSG.LGD, forcing TorontoTokyo to be very cautious in that mid lane as early as it is, just 5 minutes in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when you think about Elder Titan, you kind of think of him as a lane dominant hero. And both Notail and Seth touched on it, right? You want to abuse the fact that LGD have no stuns. But because of how this bottom lane is played out, with the Naga lane constantly being shoved into the Lycan's tower, the Elder Titan hasn't really been able to abuse his laning phase presence.
Oh, look at this now. There we have it. Nice bit of micro from Faith. Beyond that will grab himself a free courier. As the Wolves chase down poor old baby faceless Rex.
Up top, Collapse is also taking pressure now. So again, the freedom of Y, he's just allowed to rotate to mid, set up some pressure on the Void Spirit. Now he's up top, making sure he's just in their face and forcing them to react to his movement.
Yeah, he's all over the place, Y.
Yep.
Spirit, they've definitely got to try and do something in return. Yeah, they themselves bring the 2 supports up to top. Just sort of figuring out what to do about this roaming Disruptor here in the early minutes of the match.
Yep, here we go. First fight for the runes. Where is it going to spawn, top or bottom?
Let's have a look. It is going to be down bottom, and it is a DD. It's going to go straight into the bottom of TorontoTokyo, so a very nice room for it to fight with, but already up top. Spirit, they'll lose Mira.
Yeah, it's a DD TorontoTokyo though. Let's see how he can respond back with it, because now you have a Pangolier with low mana, and he's going to be aware of it, so he knows that he can make a move here, and the Pangolier won't really be able to respond.
Yeah, this is an excellent room for TorontoTokyo to find it. He's going to use it straight away. Goes aggressive. He's going to miss the Dissimilate though. A couple of hits will do it. Can he quite close the gap? No, he's not going to be able to get the second hit in. Nothing to say, steps away. I mean, that would have been such a big kill for him to find. He got the dream room for it, but he couldn't quite get the job done.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate, but, you know, that's DOTA. Disruptor, though, he's going to TP into the middle lane here. I'd be scared to do this. Let's see if TorontoTokyo has the will to chase him down.
Yeah, he's still got this DD going for a few seconds. Why? Living on the edge a little bit. Yep. TorontoTokyo feels that he can get in with the Astral Step. Why knows? He's keeping his distance.
Yeah, and if you take a look at the net worth, you see Yatoro. He's just going to start accelerating his farm even more, but I'm impressed by how well the Ursa's been able to keep up. And this is largely due to the fact that they had lane control for so long up in the top lane, and they were able to just keep their heroes, the enemy heroes, so close to the tower, so Tide could never really feel free to fight.
He's going to try and step over for Mira, but again, Team Spirit, they've kept their 2 supports up here, both Mira and Miposhka, making sure that there's never the opportunity for Arme to get any kills up here right now. As you say, Arme doesn't care too much. Complete free farm, level with that of Yatoro's Naga Siren. He's having no struggles whatsoever, but Spirit just trying their best to limit anything else going into the hands of the Ursa this early.
Yeah, and you notice the Naga in the bottom lane now. She's just going to put her illusions on the lane, push out the waves, while she farms the jungle camps close by, and try to get ahead of the Ursa by doing this constantly. And LGD are going to try to match by using the Wisp Overcharge to allow the Ursa to farm. And we notice both these teams are so good at stacking, and here we go again. Runes are spawning.
And TorontoTokyo is going to be the focus. Quick jump away from the Rolling Thunder.
Yeah, it's an Arcane Rune secured though, so if they can manage to survive these 70 seconds and nothing too bad happens, this is a huge rune for them to have.
All about these power runes early on, especially in a game, 8 minutes in, only the 2 kills so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's the tension, right? Neither team really has anything to do yet, and they're both drafting for slightly later timings in the game. The Tidehunters now finally hit level 6, so if there's an opening, look for some sort of rotation. I think it's hard to go for the Ursa, so there might even be the possibility of the Tidehunter rotating out of this lane and making some sort of move with Toronto Tokyo.
When you just look at the heroes that PSG.LGD have at their disposal, and you feel that Spirit, they're just not going to want to try and push into that tier 1 quite yet.
I think for Spirit, your expectation was to do slightly better in the lanes, but they haven't really been able to do so.
See, it's all right. Getting gone on here by the two of them, but the Rolling Thunder not quite ready again. Not quite yet. They'll get the glimpse back, but no further damage to come onto the Naga Siren, so Yatoro will be fine.
Yeah, a little bit of miscommunication there, it seems. The shield crash wasn't used on the hero. The glimpse came in a little bit later.
Well, they've got their eyes on Arme. As they know, that play was made by a couple of PSG.LGD inside their own jungle, but Arme, he's out of reach of the Remnant. He's away. Space is there. Down bottom. Faith Beyond continues to push. The tier 1 to fall already here on Spirit's side of the map.
Yeah, I think this is the most shocking part of this early game, because I expected the Lycan kind of get zoned out by the Naga and the Naga Illusions to defend them, but...
Let's see if they can get Arme. They've got 4 heroes working on him right now.
There's a Ravage.
He has the ult up. He's on the retreat up to the high ground, but they'll be able to get in front of him, close off his escape. Spirit will finally be able to claim their first kill here in the first 10 minutes, getting themselves on the board.
Yeah, and this is a huge kill because it allows for Team Spirit to now start firing back and taking over this top lane area. They need this tower to fall. And meanwhile, this is the response you see from PSG.LGD. They rotate their heroes mid to try to force Spirit away from the top tower and force them to come defend their mid tower as the more valuable tower for the later Roshan.
And they're hitting these timings, PSG.LGD, no doubt about it, and Spirit just having to let them do so.
Yeah, I mean, this Lycan really has becoming the big X factor. I don't think Spirit expected him to be this strong out of the laning phase. And now Am is going to comfortably move into his triangle and start farming up. I think once he hits that Diffusal Blade, look to see Spirit LGD try to make some move. But I think if LGD gets to farm up right now, they feel like they've hit they have enough map space to where they're comfortable playing around their cooldowns and just waiting for the Disruptor ultimate to come online, wait for the Lycan to finish up his items, and then just play around his forms together with the power runes that the Pangolier is securing.
I mean, in this sort of game where, you know, both teams playing as carefully as they are, just 1 to 2, coming up to 11 minutes, do you look at the Naga Siren and feel that for Spirit, if they can keep this game in pretty calm waters and not allow the early aggression from PSG.LGD to get to them too much, this Naga Siren will be able to carry out in the later stages, or do PSG.LGD always have the means to deal with her?
I think to some extent you are happy, but I feel like you wanted the laning phase to go better so that LGD's timings come later into the game. So knowing that your lanes haven't quite gone the way you wanted them to, they must feel like, okay, at some point now, once LGD gets items, they're going to come running at us.
Look at this Tom, nothing to say. He's going to get the lead in onto Collapse. They'll drop the Static Storm as well, putting no chance of Collapse being able to return fire quite yet with a potential Ravage. Doesn't matter though, he's able to walk out to the side. They'll go for the glimpse back on him. He'll simply look for the TP out, and there's nothing to put a stop to it. Collapse, realizing his strength here with a Hood of Defiance, he's got enough tank ability to just TP out of it all. That's the Rolling Thunder and the Static Storm put to waste there by PSG.LGD.
Yeah, great jukes. He just dodged out the Pangolier spells, and once the Rolling Thunder missed, he knew that he was safe. Glimpse is used, TP out. Just great presence of mind there from Collapse, knowing exactly how to play his situation out and get out safely. I love what LGD are doing though. If you take a look at the top lane, this is one of the things I loved about how OG ran the Wisp in the position 3. They recognize that Wisp's item timings are really important for you to keep these heroes alive, because if you think about how healing works in Dota, heroes keep growing their hero pool, like health pools, but the healing items are static amounts of heals. So 250 health on a hero that has 1000 HP is like a lot more than it is on a hero that has 3000 HP. So if you hit these heal item timings early into the game, that really enables you. And they've given Xingqiu the top lane to sit here and farm comfortably.
See down bottom, Wang, quite a dangerous position here. The side of the jungle of Team Spirit in Toronto Tokyo will be quick to put a stop to it.
Naga Siren also closing in on the Mantha, and by the looks of it, she's going to get that item before Ursa even completes his Diffusal Blade. So Yatoro's probably very happy in this game, feeling comfortable with how it's going right now.
And when you look at sort of what they have against him, do you feel that a lot of the map is pretty safe for this Naga Siren to farm in? As long as the Song and the TP's up, will he get away most of the time?
I mean, most likely. I think the tricky thing here, if you're LGD, is how do we deal with the illusions? How do we deal with the Naga putting illusions in our jungle that will scout out our movement and force us to play away from Roshan? Because as Dyer here, No-Tail and Seb also very touched on this a lot, the Ursa wants Aegis. This is his most key item, especially when you're going up against big cooldowns like Ravage, like Finger, Earth Splitter. You know these long cooldowns, people don't want to use them on your Aegis, so it's going to be important for him to get it. And the Naga, as long as he's able to play top and put illusions in the top dire jungle, it's really hard. Like, what are you going to do? Because their heroes don't have ways to effectively kill the illusions.
And you feel that Spirit, their lineup, it's geared up pretty well to deal with the fact that PSG.LGD will look for the Roshan. They won't be afraid of turning up and trying to put a stop to it.
I mean, I think that's where the information game is going to be important. Can Spirit actually use the vision that they're getting to fight off LGD's timing? Because I think that is like the big question mark. Is the Ursa going to be too strong for you to kill? Or is it enough to just sleep away half the wolf fight duration and then try to fight them afterwards?
I think we're definitely going to see Yatoro start to increase the lead against Arme. Bottom lane white. He'll drop the Static Storm, trying to save himself, but collapsing. Maposhka will run him down, take him out. Faith Beyond, he's looking to get involved in this with the back of a Nothing to Say being brought over by Jin Q. They will get Maposhka. Can the three of them get collapsed? They're trying to commit their best onto him. They will leave the two cores behind as Jin Q trying to let Nothing to Say and Faith Beyond finish the job, but they just can't. The damage isn't there. Toronto Tokyo was also starting to sweep over, so PSG.LGD, they have to back up and just accept the trade as it is, the support for support.
Yeah, and Collapse now knowing that, you know what, they can't actually kill me without the Ursa. It's only the Ursa that can threaten my life. Just comfortably sits bottom alone, pushes out the waves, gaining as much farm as he can. And in the meanwhile, Yatoro just pushes out top lane, farming out all these top jungle camps. If you take a look at the dire jungle, there are no camps alive.
I mean, the Yatoro's farm, he is creeping further and further ahead of Arme's Ursa. You know, if there's not going to be any blood being spilt and it is just the creeps dying, this Naga Siren is just going to charge ahead in regards to farm. Yatoro is going to be huge.
Yeah, and he's going for a very interesting build. He's buying the Aghanim Scepter, and the Aghanim Scepter allows him to use his Ensnare on heroes that are either slept by his ulti or spell immune. So this will give them a way to deal with BKBs. And traditionally, the way you deal with, for example, a Tidehunter Ravage is by buying a BKB. Or in this case, you have the Pangolier with Rolling Thunder. So he's actually going to be able to lock down the Pangolier during his Rolling Thunder with his net. It's a very, very smart item decision here from the Naga.
A very long lockdown and reduced cooldown and increased cast range. He's going to have no trouble finding the target that he wishes every single team fight.
Yep. LGD also heavily reliant on the Pangolier for the lockdown, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see him use it, specifically just to make sure the Pango can't roll over his teammates.
And I guess sort of the smart approach with this item is the fact that this sort of deals with this timing where PSG.LGD is going to be more ready to fight than he is, right? He can just sort of be the anti-fight. He just stops it, gets out of there, can keep playing his game. And certainly one of the crucial parts of PSG.LGD's initiation, it's shut down completely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for Spirit, that's the name of the game, right? Can we drag this game on? And literally slowing him down during his roll, forcing his timing to be unable to be used, is just exactly what Spirit are looking for in this game. But yeah, we're starting to see items gear up on LGD's side. If you take a look at the Lycan, his timing is really going to be the big thing. But I think Spirit have won the early game in that there's no Roshan killed yet. And that means the second Roshan is going to spawn slower, and that's no Aghanim Shard for Ursa for the first half hour of the game.
I mean, if you're PSG.LGD right now, what sort of calls are you making? Are you looking at an item that's round the corner and then saying we've got to go? Do they need to go right now? How urgent do they need to be?
I think they looks like they're gearing up to look for an opportunity, right? You finished up the Helm of the Overlord. The Ursa now has his Diffusal Blade. Your Wisp is closing in on mech. You already have the Holy Locket. So there's a lot of nice tools for LGD to take a straight-up team fight if Team Spirit presented to them.
Siame. It's going to start with a bit of a tickle onto Toronto Tokyo. The Remnant holds back the bear. Quick jump out with the steps. Nothing to say. He's trying to close in. Does he want to keep diving underneath the tier 2? Maybe trying to get some vision for a setup from the Disruptor, but now Team Spirit, they're far enough away. Nothing to say. We're going to hit with the Swashbuckler. Procs of the Maelstrom, nearly bringing him down, but Toronto Tokyo gets away. And as low HP as he is, Collapse also able to TP out, as there's nothing else to stop his escape. Team Spirit, they're able to avoid the move completely by PSG.LGD once again.
Yeah, and they didn't even have to involve the Naga. So during all of this time, Yatoro's still just gaining farm. He's 2,000 gold ahead of the Ursa already.
Oh my, this is going to be a problem.
He's getting out of control. He's only, I believe he just finished his Aghanim Scepter too. So he has Manta and Aghanim Scepter at 17 minutes into the game. He's crazy farm.
This is, I mean, Yatoro, it really has been eyes on him throughout the whole tournament and performance of Spirit. Top lane setups there with a net. That's the mid gone. Nothing to say. Going down, Yatoro. Instant Song TP as he knows the response will be there from PSG.LGD. Gets out. They cannot catch him. Yatoro will continue to farm.
Yeah, this is a really important kill, but by forcing the Naga Siren to TP out, LGD now have the option of potentially taking back control of their jungle. So this is going to be their objective for the next minute here. As you see, they're going to try to contest this Tidehunter. They know the Naga Siren is not present.
See what they can do about Collapse. Jump already in onto the Disruptor, then look at the burst. Collapse is holding on to the Ravage for now. Static Storm's down. Collapse gets himself out of the side of the Ravage. Onto the two, and then they blow up Arme. It's 3 dead at the moment on PSG.LGD. IO also caught out. GQ to fall.
That's absolutely massive.
My goodness.
Team Spirit's so aware of everything. They know that this is what LGD wants to do. The Naga TP'd out, they're going to come contest us. They position their heroes perfectly. You see the kinetic field come out, but there's no static storm to fall out because you have the Lion in position to interrupt that. It's just Spirit are playing so well right now. They're just recognizing where LGD's timings are.
It just seems like already, just in the first 18 minutes of this game 1 of the Grand Finals, Team Spirit, they're just completely in the heads of PSG.LGD. The way that PSG.LGD wanted to play, it's just not happening. They're crumbling, they're falling apart. And Yatoro, he's just going to continue the glory. Mid lane, the setups there onto the Pango. Nothing to say goes down. Another kill for this Naga Siren. I do not know or see how on earth PSG.LGD is going to stop this man this game.
He's getting out of control, and if you look at the Lycan, you can see he decided to not go for the Aghanims. He's going for drums. They're gearing up for a quicker timing in this game. I think the mechanism comes out on Xingqiu. They get the BKB finished up on Ame, and they're going to look for some sort of team fight. But the way that Team Spirit are abusing the vision, if you take a look at the map, like, there are almost no dire wards anywhere. Radiant are in firm control of where the vision is. And the only ward that they have, I think Miposhka literally just pinged out. There you go. Just controlling the vision. They have more information to play with, and this is what's allowing Team Spirit to constantly be reading LGD and how they're moving around the map.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Bottom. Toronto Tokyo, he'll show his face, but not worried about any catch from PSG.LGD. They just don't have the members around. Space is made, the tier 2 tower going down at the top lane. There won't be any defense from PSG.LGD here as Spirit just continue to hit the timings, take the objectives at a pace that PSG.LGD's lineup will be incredibly jealous of. This is what they wanted to be doing, and it's happening the other way around.
Yeah, absolutely. They are starting to finish up some key items though. You see the Pangolier now has a Blink Dagger, so they have an easier form of initiation rather than just trying to run at them with a roll. So if Team Spirit heroes start getting cocky and playing alone, there is a way for LGD to respond and punish. Very close to this mechanism on the Wisp as well. It's just 100 gold away, and this really is the Wisp's big timing. You have both the Holy Locket and the mech to heal up the Ursa, and Ursa's closing in on BKB, so I'm smelling a fight in the waters, Owen.
Yeah, the next one, it's got to be strong from PSG.LGD. Another rough fight, and this game could quickly fall out of control.
Yeah, and as strong as a Naga Siren is when she's playing this kind of map game and she's able to get the pickoffs, she isn't the strongest hero to fight up against the Ursa. So if you think about how these heroes function against each other, the Naga can't really fight up against the Ursa straight up. So if LGD is able to corner Team Spirit and they can take a fight where it's just a straight up 5v5 with the BKB and the mechanism finished, that could be an amazing timing for them. But Spirit don't want to allow that, so they're deciding to smoke up and make the move on their own first.
Let's see if they catch PSG whilst they least expect it. BKB is out for Arme.
Why?
So they start things off, they'll go for Y. Take the Disruptor out of the action.
And Disruptor's a really key kill, because if the Disruptor isn't alive in the fight, they can't really go for Collapse. Look at Collapse's itemization. This is so smart. He's gone for the Yules to get it with a hood and a Blink Dagger. And why is this interesting? Because if you're inside of a Static Storm, and you Yule yourself, and you have the hood up, and there's no physical damage to hit you, you can actually just blink straight out of it. So just really, really smart item decisions coming out of Collapse here.
Well, we'll definitely have to look out for that play. Would be a rather impressive outpost, taken back into the hands of Spirit. And keeping full control around this area, this Roshan, as you say, which is just sort of it's a long distant dream, it seems, for PSG.LGD. They're never getting anywhere close to this pit until they're able to find the fight that they've been hunting for the whole 22 minutes of this game. They'll smoke up now, ready to go. PSG.LGD, they have to find success here.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you take a quick look at Lycan before the fight breaks out, he's decided not to go for the wolf fight. They recognize that they won't be able to play the strat the way they intended for it to. So he's going to be building up some damage items as well.
Smoke. We'll dispel here on Toronto Tokyo. Same to be set for PSG.LGD. They know that both teams are waiting here up to the side of the river on the respective edges. And now, Arme, he's going to sneak into the Roche, start to try and take it out here.
Yeah, for the first time in this game, they've been allowed to take back the Dire jungle and try to apply some pressure to Roche. So I expect Team Spirit also recognize that, you know what, we've given up the Dire jungle. What would LGD do with that? Well, they would go to Roshan. So
let's see Spirit check this out. Arme's going to slow it down a little bit. The Spirit's coming in. They know that they know. Stop in. Once the IO, they're going to lead in. There's the jump straight away. They're looking to burst through the IO. Then the ranges to fall into the hands of Arme. Arme's able to get the Roche kill, get the Aegis. They get the Static Storm down. The Rolling Thunder has won and control Toronto Tokyo. But he's out with an Astral Step. Toronto Tokyo actually makes it out of there. Dissimulate as well. PSG.LGD may have got the Roche, they may have got the Aegis. Trying to kill will still go down as Faith Beyond was able to wrap around and find him.
Yeah, really nice play there from LGD. What an unfortunate event there for Xingqiu. He gets pulled into the Roche pit. You really want to stay outside with a tether, but stay tethered to Ame, but he takes one step too close, and then the Wisp comes inside the Roche pit, which gives Spirit the perfect opportunity there to go in, but I don't think they were quite expecting the BKB, so all in all, I think they're happy with this. You know, they gave up the Aegis, but it took them 24 minutes to get there. So Roshan number 2, which really is Ursa's key timing in this game, to get that shard so that he can play most of the fights enraged, is going to come much, much later than they expected.
But definitely the beginnings of PSG.LGD getting this game back under their control.
Yeah, absolutely. Now they need to abuse the fact that they have the Aegis to try to gain some map control here. You want to try to get the lanes pushed out, force Team Spirit to play reactive to you, and then once you are able to corner them in, you're going to find that team fight that you so much want. So the hard part here for them is how do we deal with the Naga illusions, and how do we stop them from just using illusions to push the lanes back and make us play the map game.
I mean, yeah, which hero are you sort of putting in charge of dealing with that?
I mean, they picked the Pangolier as an answer, right? And if you look at his itemization, he's going for the Maelstrom. He's trying to have some more damage and have some more presence to kill the illusions. And luckily for him, Yatora hasn't really bought any items that tank the illusions up. He's more so building his hero up so that he's able to fight into the Ursa. He's going for that Bloodthorn. It looks like he's going to follow it up with a Heart, so he's also gone for some sort of hybrid build where he can actually get solo kills if he catches people out alone.
And for Spirit right now, despite the Aegis falling into the hands of Ame, are you still very willing to fight? How much do you need to respect this Aegis on the bear?
I think... Oh, teamfight bottom. Xingqiu's in trouble.
Xingqiu will manage to make his way around the Remnant. Quick tether back over to the safety of Ame.
Yeah, I mean, for Spirit, I think you want to fight, but it needs to be the right fight. You ideally want Yatora to try to force some hero around the map, and then once you know that the PSG.LGD's heroes aren't in position to connect, then you can go for some sort of smoke. Then you can make that move. But the difficulty for them is you can't necessarily go on the Ursa. You don't have the tools to bring him down at the start of a team fight.
I've got the eyes on the two of them bottom. PSG.LGD, Ame and Xingqiu. On their own down here for now. There is a relocate available, and of course with the Aegis, Ame a very hard target to jump. Pressure continues from Yatora and his illusions in the mid lane, keeping these waves shoved right up towards the base of PSG.LGD.
And down bottom, Team Spirit are just waiting patiently, but LGD have recognized that they TP'd bottom, right? So it's very likely that their heroes are stuck on that side of the map. So here they come sweeping up towards the Dire jungle, understanding that Spirit cannot already have moved their pieces from all the way from bottom back to top after the TP response to the tier 2 tower. So just smart play coming out from both sides. I think we saw this in the VP Spirit series. Team Spirit are going to be really, really smart about only fighting under their vision, or where they feel comfortable that they have the information they need to take the fight. I think in this way, LGD's like maybe sometimes a little bit more reckless and will play with like assumptions. Like if they see you bottom, they might try to aim to fight you top, which we saw earlier. And in the early game, you know, Spirit read that perfectly. So if Spirit's able to get a good read like that, you might see them pounce.
Yatora very ready to enter the fights now with his aggressive item of the Bloodthorn complete. They're able to get that locked down with the stuns, but the Lion and the Tide, that amp up of the damage will allow them to just destroy whichever hero they target.
Yep, and something that I noticed Team Spirit do a lot when they feel like they're on the back foot is take over the enemy triangle and try to set up control here. And this is something that I'm sure LGD are aware of too, but Lycan's in trouble.
Yep. They've got the setup here. You see the damage here with the Bloodthorn really amping up. It's not quite enough though. Faith Beyond makes it away, has the plate mill and that Hyperstone done already onto the way to the AC. An additional bit of armor certainly helping out.
Yeah, and this is an opening now for Spirit. The Lycan form is down. One of the big tools in this team fight is gone. So in the other series when we saw LGD play the tiny Lycan, the Lycan's form himself doesn't really matter. It was all about that wolf bite. But in this game, because he decided to itemize his own hero, the 60 seconds of downtime here is quite big. And you see LGD pulling back their pieces, not willing to play aggressive on the top lane anymore, recognizing that they don't have all the tools necessary to win a team fight.
Team Spirit remaining in this whole area of the triangle. Yatora slowly sieging onto the tier 1 tower, seeing what sort of reaction they can force out of PSG.LGD. 20 seconds until that Aegis has gone off Ame. Unlikely to find a fight with that still in his hands, so the game once again falling to a bit of a risky territory for PSG.LGD, at least until they can hold off for that second round of Roshan.
Yeah, and Illusions just slowly chipping away at this tower. They don't really deal a lot of damage, but it's something that, you know, LGD might respond to. So they're keeping heroes close by that in case LGD just feel like, oh, it's just an illusion hitting our tower, they're ready to pounce. And you see Nothing to Say reads that too. He understands based on the fact that there's nothing happening on any of the other lanes. Both our middle lane is pushing out, top lane's pushing out. Lycan's getting a lot of farm from all these waves right now. He recognizes all the Team Spirit heroes are bottom here.
Yeah, he has to be so careful showing his face to clear the wave.
Yeah, both teams just reading the map really, really well. And I think Spirit, this play that they've done has been so effective throughout all the tournament, but you know LGD's done their homework.
They're going to spot Collapse around, glimpse back with Blinks there. Collapse breaks the combo, the setup. Instantly going to go for the TP out. If they've got anything to put a stop to it, they do, straight away. They're able to get the setup onto Collapse, he'll look to run, but the damage is done. PSG.LGD, they catch and kill off the Tide.
Yeah, and this is a result, right, of Team Spirit has been in the lower bracket, so they've been playing so many games. LGD has that information based on previous games of where does Team Spirit go when they feel like they're behind? What do they do? What is their approach? And I think LGD is one of the best teams at the tournament at just abusing this information that they're gaining about the teams. They understand what is Team Spirit specifically going to do? How do they approach the situation? And they find that smoke because of that. They're playing most of this game with very, very limited vision. I really want to point that out. Like they barely have vision of what's going on the map.
Well, even without their Tide, Spirit maintaining their aggressive posture over PSG.LGD's half of the map and already looking for action once again around the bottom tier 2. See if they find the setup. They've got the Hex, they're going to look to jump in. Static Storm's going to be put down from Y. Stops the backup coming in. Still though, is it the burst enough? It is! They take down Arme. That burn for the Bloodthorn, it's enough to send the bear back to base.
That's an absolutely massive kill. And I think Zincu felt like he could keep him alive. There was no relocate out. So next team fight, here's the tricky part. Do you relocate Arma out as soon as he gets hexed? Because Spirit has now proven to you that we have the abilities to burst your heroes. That's why he's also in trouble.
There should be another one. It's definitely another one, Yatoro. Target to target and over towards the mid. The BKB having to be popped by Nothing to Say. See if Yatoro's got the setup. He has. There's the initial route. See if they've got any further follow-up here. The relocate, they'll take him out. They've got to keep Nothing to Say safe. Yep. Get him away from Team Spirit as Team Spirit, they're pushing down the mid onto another tier 2 tower.
Nice play by Faith Beyond. Tanks that Aether Remnant with one of his wolves. But Team Spirit, they're doing this so smart, right? We heard the draft panel touch on it. Fighting 5 versus 5 is not really where they're strong. They want to delay this game, keep finding these pickups, try to find these opportunities where they can get a jump, burst someone really quickly, and use the fact that we have Ravage to reset, we have Naga Sleep to reset, which is forcing LGD to be very careful about how they use their cooldowns. And this is leading to them they're just playing this game very well. And these small decisions that they're making, where you notice they're not really charging into the enemy, they're not giving LGD the kind of fights that they're used to getting.
I mean, and with the heart done on Yatoro, you know, 26 armor, 3,500 HP, how hard is it for PSG.LGD to really ever get on top of him now and take him out with the focus of Arme's Ursa?
I think the biggest thing is that the illusions are tankier. If you take a look at how Yatoro is playing the fights, he's staying very far back with his primary hero, using the Bloodthorn and using the Ensnare, and having the illusions deal the damage. And if LGD really don't have heroes that want to hit illusions, Ursa wants to sit on top of a hero, like just keep hitting him, keep hitting him, keep hitting him. You don't want to hit these illusions where you get like 5 to 6 hits in, and then you got to switch over to the next one. That's a way of making the Overpower a fairly useless ability.
Of course, that timer that they'll be having in their mind, the Roshan. Potential respawn in just over a minute.
And that minute feels really long, Owen. Let me tell you, right now, if you're PSG.LGD, that minute is coming very, very slowly. We see Tidehunter starting to eye up a Shiva's guard. That's going to make it even harder for the Ursa to stick on top of him and deal damage. They also just bought a Force Staff on the other Titan. I think for Team Spirit, they're recognizing that, you know what? LGD's not going to be able to kill us if we're just able to kite out their BKBs. And that's why you notice, like, Nothing to Say also has bought a BKB. I think the idea of this is he wants to try to use it to break out of, to have a longer period of time in the teamfights where he's playing under Magic Immunity, because there's just so much lockdown coming out from Team Spirit. Go Scepter on Mira. Toronto Toki has Yules and Kaya Sanj also eyeing up on Shiva's guard, but I would be surprised if he doesn't change it up. And on the courier, he has a full BKB too. So I'm really liking Spirit for this game one. They're in a very dominant position here. They're scaling up very nicely.
With the timer, they know it's going to be around the point where PSG.LGD are going to be checking out that Roche pit, looking for the respawn. Spirit, they're heading over to try and do something about the presence. They're going to jump straight in on the GQ, burst with the finger. As the IO goes down, no buyback. GQ cannot get back into this fight. Nothing to say, has to roll out with the Thunder.
So this is huge, right? Both Lycanform was committed, as well as the Pangolier roll. So if the Roshan spawns, which it does, this is free Roshan for Team Spirit. And remember how much we talked about how badly you want this for LGD. It doesn't even matter if the Sagas comes to use for Yatoro, they just want to make sure that PSG.LGD doesn't get it. And this is the only shard, Aghanim shard, that has dropped from Roshan throughout the entire game. So that's 1,400 gold that now Ame is going to have to spend for himself.
I mean, it just goes to show how solid of a position that Spirit are in, where just a couple of ults expired by PSG.LGD and a dead IO, and suddenly the rest of the lineup, they cannot do anything about Spirit taking the Roche. Continuing their lead here, 7k up. I mean, Yatoro, he himself, 7k difference between him and Ame's farm. Well on the way to having a butterfly complete for the next bit of action as well.
Yeah, and with this butterfly, he actually has the option of now utilizing his own hero too, once the situation looks good for him, because the Ursa can't just burst him. The bash is going to miss, there's a proc chance on the bash, there's a proc chance on the miss, so it's going to be hard for the Ursa to just lock him down. And just very intelligently itemized by the Naga here. For the early part of the game, when he knew it was going to be a map control game, he bought the Orchid, he bought the Ags, played for the map, looked for those pickoffs, and those key pickoffs have really led to the situation that they're in the game now. Jambot picked up by Y. You can feel, they feel the pressure of the vision. They're not getting the vision that they're used to. They don't have the information that they're used to playing with in this game. Miposhka is just shutting them down. Oh. And Rage forced out.
They're just going to have to stay well away from Spirit. 4 very, very scary minutes of Aegis on Toronto, Tokyo. PSG.LGD, they do not want to fight into this. But every minute that passes where they cannot look to brawl is going to be another just minute of pain here with the increasing momentum and mass of the cause of Team Spirit.
Yeah. And surely right now, PSG.LGD are discussing how do we take a team fight? What is it that we need to do? How do we need to use our abilities in order to catch Team Spirit off guard? And for Team Spirit, I think a lot of the communication is like, we need to make sure that we do not let LGD come out on the map. We don't want them to get out and farm. As long as we can keep them locked into their base, we can get all the items that we want, and then we get the fight that we want. And everything's going to happen on our terms. So you see, they rotate over to the top side here, expecting LGD to run out on the top side of the map. And here we go.
It's time to look for that fight, PSG.LGD. Execution has to be immaculate.
Yeah, they're scouting with the Wolves. They're getting the info they want.
They're looking to try and start to collapse, but Collapse is able to blink away from the lead-in. They'll turn their attention over towards Yatoro, but with the instead looks to hold him back. Nothing to say, is able to get out of it. As they'll get the Static Storm set up onto the Naga Siren, but the illusions, they're just forcing back Y. Swashbuckle's going to miss. I mean, Yatoro, he's barely been scratched. He's back up to full HP. PSG.LGD is able to run back to base, but Collapse, he's in with the Ravage onto the two of them. Silence down onto Ame, pop the BKB, turn towards Toronto, Tokyo, but they cannot stay for this fight. They've got to get back to the high ground, back to the base, as PSG.LGD have to charge back to the safety of their high ground as quickly as they head out. Collapse. Going to look for the setup here outside of the base. Another BKB force. Faith Beyond trying to head back to the safety of his teammates. The ensnare locks him down. The illusion's starting to go to work. Remnant left in the position. They drag it back with a split into the finger. My goodness, the Lycan gets absolutely destroyed. And Toronto Tokyo's not done. Diving up to the tier 4s, committing with a dissimulate. He's trying to go for GQ. Will die underneath the towers, but he's got the Aegis. He's ready for round 2.
Yeah, I mean, it's just the micro decision making from Team Spirit is so beautiful to watch. I think every time a hero pops BKB, within half a second, there's a Naga net flying at it. And in the fight, you saw Ame pop BKB to try to man up and fight. And then the net comes, immediately he has to pop his ultimate. He can't use the Enrage the way he wants to. He's forced to use it defensively all the time just to break the net, just to be able to stick on top of the targets.
Just trying to clear out these illusions now. It seems all but impossible. The Rex dying, the melee Rex will fall. They'll get the jump on Yatoro, but they've already lost Y at the start of the action. BKB from Ame, he's trying to stay on target, but Yatoro is able to sing their way back to safety. And now he's ready to go back in. The song ends, Toronto Tokyo, BKB up, jump over with the Remnant, grabs back the Ursa. Ame disappears in a matter of seconds. GQ to fall as well. GG is called. And my goodness, what a buttery smooth start grand finals here for Team Spirit. They couldn't have played this any better, Aiden. This is how you dream of entering a grand finals at the International.
Yes, absolutely. Everything they're doing, they're firing on all cylinders. Their macro understanding of the game, how LGD might try to sneak out of base, they're in position to cover it. And then once that fight happens, they're immediately ready to respond in the right way.
I mean, that was incredible. Yatoro turning up, doing it again. Another hero, and it looks like it's a performance that's on top of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Yatoro, I mean, we all talked about Collapse so much throughout this tournament, but we gotta give Yatoro the praise he deserves. His hero pool is so wide, it's just allowing Spirit to constantly have these win conditions over their opponents.
And it really is, just not the fact that he himself is so individually skilled on these numerous carries. It's just that the team, they seem to have a strat to play around every single one that he's willing to pull out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Team Spirit are so strong. They look like a fierce opponent, and I think a lot of people might have expected LGD to be the stronger team, but, you know, they just proven you wrong. These guys can beat LGD for sure.
They absolutely can. What a way to start this grand finals. Team Spirit just charging in with the same level of strength that they have shown us throughout their entire run so far up until this point. It's continuing here where it counts the most. Game 1 will go to Team Spirit.
A very strong performance from Team Spirit here in that first game indeed, and I am looking forward to hearing from our 5-head draft panel first of all. Gentlemen, how did this game play out compared to what you thought was going to happen?
I mean, I think it was an incredible statement from Spirit. It started with the draft. It started with the mentality in which they played this game. You know, they come here to the grand finals, and of course, everybody expects LGD to be the Titan. You know, can they move them? Not only they can, they beat them. They play fearless. They come up with a great strategy. They beat probably LGD's best strategy. Their first pick, the IO Lycan, they just break it. I think, you know, as a Dota fan, this is what I was really hoping for, is like, can they compete? And yes, they can. LGD is getting tested today, and that's going to be absolutely amazing to witness.
Team Spirit seems to be playing very free, very careless, very aggressive. This Bloodthorn kill on the Ursa bottom was, like you said, a huge statement. I want to say the same thing. This was like a team who saw an opening. They had an item build, they had a timing that not many teams would have pushed, played on, and pulled this off with. This Ursa dying in front of tier 2 also breaks the game at this point, and it's like it's a very intense game. LGD, they're not broken by any means. They go for this Roshan play, they actually get it, and they're staying alive in a game where I think it's actually looking really hard, and it's really hard for them to scale, it's really hard for them to fight. I think the draft still favored Spirit. I think LGD were not so comfortable with how it ended up looking like. They're much more comfortable if they have a condition where it's like, in 20 minutes we're going to be stronger, in 30 minutes we're going to be stronger, much stronger than you, and we keep scaling. But in this game, with the ET, with the Naga Sleep, with the Ravage, you saw it, like fights can end like this for LGD.
Yeah, and I think this was almost a bit of a wake-up call for Xiaowei and LGD, because I think they came into it supremely confident. I think we were even saying, like, maybe they might have even prepared for Team Secret. They weren't expecting Team Spirit to, like, just roll through everyone. And I think LGD, they can make a comeback, but at Spirit, they looked really good in that game. Just everything they wanted to do during that game looked really strong.
Yeah, thank you very much, gentlemen, for that insight. Love to hear more, of course, from you during the draft of game number 2, and that is where we, of course, will be heading next, because it's a best of 5. It's all about learning and adapting. And you heard Curtis say that maybe PSG.LGD did not know, like, that they were going to face Team Spirit. I will tell you that not a single person on the planet has had a correct bracket prediction. A little bit of extra information there. So there are 4 people on the planet that have had 20 out of 21 predictions correct. So that's very nice. And actually, this morning, there was only one person on the planet that still had a correct prediction, but they thought it was Secret that was going to move on. So, hey, it's all up in the air from here, and Team Spirit take game 1. Lizard, it's been an amazing opening game.
It's been incredible, especially when you go back and listen to what Silent said after the draft. He's like, yeah, we're just gonna play the game. We didn't prepare too much for them. We had Secret on our mind. It definitely didn't look that way. The way they set up the team fights, the way they moved across the map. Draft aside, the way they anticipated PSG.LGD and what they will do and prepared for it and counter-attacked them. it was incredible.
Yeah, PSG.LGD end the game with 5 kills. That is like, and with an Ursa draft, like that's just kind of unheard of, and exactly how that draft is not meant to play out. If you're playing an Ursa and 25 minutes in you have 5 kills, there's a big problem.
Yeah, and I definitely want to piggyback on something that NoTail was talking about. I think every single game that I got to either cast or every single game that I reviewed, looking over PSG.LGD, even for months now, they always drafted themselves a win condition for later stages. This is one of the few games where I think as soon as that Naga's picked, they're like, uh-oh, we actually need to find something to counter this, to play fast with. I think that's why they went for this Pango. And I think it was just a genius idea, a genius draft plan from Spirit throughout the whole thing.
A genius draft plan indeed. It looked so strong from them. Was there any chance for PSG.LGD to defend high ground after it went so awry in the early stages, God?
I felt like once things started going wrong, there wasn't a comeback. They needed to get ahead early and then snowball from there, going from Roshan kills to hero kills, and just really, get this massive lead that just kept on growing. So once this Naga, illusion started coming online and pushing out waves, the game was kind of already slipped away by that point.
And even though PSG.LGD, they had a beautiful plan in this Pangolier last pick that can perhaps take over the game and deal with the Naga later on, they answered it. They answered it with Yaganims on the Naga and just completely killed their only chance. It's just beautiful.
Yeah, PSG.LGD has, been the final boss, as you say it, for this grand finals. And what is that? What is that? Tsunami?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's final boss. I've been crunching the numbers, and I think I finally understand. This whole time I was preparing as if Secret were going to be the representatives of not just Western Europe, but Europe in whole. And I was so ready to show you the differences between Secret's playstyle and LGD's playstyle. Things went a little bit differently. I was trying to say that, oh man, LGD, they are the magnum opus of China. They have combined all the best parts of their compatriots, Vici Gaming, IG, Spirit. They're all grinders, actually. Secret, they only played like 27 ticketed games. Meanwhile, you've got I-Leagues, you've got Pinnacle Cups. Both these regions are known to grind out games publicly. So that's one thing that was very similar to them. Next up, we've been talking, time and time again about how LGD is the fastest average game length, and they are. But Spirit is hot on their tail, not that much further behind. This is no fluke, my friends. After that, I was like, okay, well, surely the ward efficiency, and there is a little bit of a discrepancy. This was the average centuries used per D ward. LGD is still the kings of this whole thing, but you heard Insania at the beginning of this cast. You saw how the Naga illusion usage was used. Spirit understand vision extremely well, and they also understand drafts extremely well. 5 more unique heroes picked throughout this entire tournament. Maybe LGD have been holding on to things, and also it's a big credit to Yatoro, obviously, on the side of Spirit, because Ame, he's no slouch in his own self. He's been putting up some solid numbers. All you people who went in on Team Secret for your fantasy, I feel bad for you, because Ame, even in a losing series, will still be doing work. Though, granted, that's only after he matured a little bit. I think previous TIs for Ame, he's had some issues picking the right items, knowing when to use the right items, knowing when to buy the right items, but he has matured ever since. And this should really come as no surprise that Team Spirit has won Game 1, because this is a rematch from the OGA Dota Pit Invitational just from a month ago. And you know who won that Game 1? It was Spirit also. Yeah. After that, they lost 3 games.
Wow, a lot of confidence for Team Spirit coming out from Tsunami there. And yes, that was indeed how those grand finals went. However, since then, I think it is very safe to say that Team Spirit, over the entire 2021 year, Fog, the most improved team in Dota 2 on the planet.
Yeah, and just still playing like it's not TI, I guess you could say. Like, not feeling the pressure so much is what I mean. Because I got to cast them and watch them throughout both of the seasons, and I was big fans of them. Tokyo was playing with super confidence. Some games, maybe a little bit too much confidence, but being able to see players go up onto even grand finals doing this versus a team like LGD, it's amazing. And you could see there, they were still taking risks in a lot of this game. They were committing a lot of spells, like even over-committing at times, and it ended up working out anyway. So.
Yeah, I think we've seen that multiple times when Team Spirit seemed a little down in a game. They don't really seem to care. I don't know if that's the right word to say it, but they'll try to make the plays anyway, even if they're not ahead in the game, even if they're not 20k gold ahead. If they're 20k gold down, they'll still try. That's how they were able to get to this point, Lizard.
And that's the right winning mentality. When you're 20k gold behind and you go safe and you buy yourself that BKB instead of that one extra item that could perhaps win you the team fight, you're already signing the defeat. So I really like the mentality and the approach to the game that Team Spirit is bringing to this TI.
They give off this aura where it's like, we might eventually lose or get knocked out of TI, but that's okay. And turns out just playing with that kind of carefree, we're just going to go out and, play to win and, anything can happen kind of attitude has really just worked wonders for them.
I really cannot wait already. Sorry, for True Sight, I was seeing like multiple conversations going on. You saw Zawait giving a little bit of a speech. We saw just Yatoro just, having some comments back and forth. Ooh, I can't wait. I'm getting way too far ahead of myself with all those conversations. But I would like to hear from you guys what you think needs to be changed in game number 2, because we do talk about learning and adapting Fogged, and in between best of 5, that's when it matters. These 15 minutes that these players have had, key moments.
Yeah, I think I know IO is an incredibly strong hero at the moment, but I actually think IO might be one of those that you maybe step away from, because TI, I think we've said it ad nauseum, it starts to come down to these big team fights. It comes down to these big little plays that you can do. Sure, IO can do those little plays, but ease of execution is a thing too. So I think for PSG.LGD, I want to see them go back to their guns, put Jinkyu on his normal heroes where he's going to be able to scale, have a bigger impact than just, I'm a tether, I'm an overcharge, a heal. I want them to diversify and let him also become that kind of carry mode too, because, yeah, he's shown how much he can do as.
And when you talk about ease of execution, they had, no stuns that game. Disruptor Glimpse, they would, try catch this tide, and then he'd just TP out in front of 4 heroes multiple times. So I think a lot of it is going to come back to the draft, simplify things, pick a few more stuns, and just make your game plan much easier to execute.
I completely agree. Just a little bit more team fight for PSG.LGD, and what they really have to get is that late game potential. In the last game, they truly didn't have it. And when you're on a timer, that 20-25 minute mark in which you need to break the enemy and you're under pressure, under emotions, you're bound to make mistakes. So just play it safe, pick a hero that scales well into the late game.
Yeah, I mean, if we take a look back to the first 10 minutes of the previous game we just watched, I mean, both teams were taking it very safe. It was actually a fairly slow start to the game, which, based on draft, we were not really expecting gods, because that Naga Siren just had all the freedom in the world.
Yeah, I don't think PSG.LGD had a draft that was going to scale late game if they didn't get ahead and play aggressive. Usually it's their style to just go around, run at their opponents, look for these kills. And, when you're playing this Ursa as your carry with a mid Pengalier, you don't have that ability to scale, so they had to be a lot more aggressive there.
They really did. And we know that PSG.LGD can recover in a series, so I'm very curious to see what they bring to the table in this game 2. Of course, also, this will be something that Silent and Miposhka will have discussed at length, because they know PSG.LGD will come up with a new plan as well. So it's, it's one-upping each other constantly in this best of 5. I want to just also quickly remind everyone that it is so phenomenal that we have 9 out of the 10 players on the stage being they're only the first or the second international that they're at. We are seeing, I kind of feel like the new generation of Dota players here on stage, Fog.
Oh God, don't say this.
It's time. No, this is true.
But then the older people are going to start retiring, and then we got 7 no-tail coming for our jobs.
Oh, okay. No. Well, they are already here, and you're still on the panel. Too late for that.
Too late.
Savor the moment.
No, it is truly beautiful. I love when you see these young guns and just having this confidence. I think that's the biggest thing that everybody's just said is confidence. Spirit's just been oozing it.
The future of Dota is bright. When you have all these young players coming out of multiple different regions, it really means, the next TIs in years to come are going to have some amazing new talent.
Yeah, are you a little bit jealous, Lizard?
I'm very jealous. I'm super emotional. Watching Team Spirit in particular, because I was in that Eastern Europe Tier 2, Tier 3 teams. This was a dream that for some is happening at the moment. It's becoming reality.
All
I'm
you
also
need
very
to do,
happy.
apparently, is on day 2 or day 3 of the event, you're like, Dota gods, they need to be worshipped. You shave off your head, you donate it, and here you are, grand finals.
There you go.
That's your Toro story right there, in case you're wondering why you look so different from all the pictures that you're seeing. That's the reason. He literally said in an interview, I felt like I needed to sacrifice something to the Dota gods. My hair.
I like how they're doing all these like little things too, where you're saying like I even saw when they won the last game too. Mira's like waving at somebody in the crowd, right? He's just like, hey, yeah, we won, guys, cheer for us. It's like, wait a minute.
I am very sad that this is not an actual crowd, because of course we have the LGD crowds coming in from our sound sweetener, but now Team Spirit doesn't have those crowds, because I know, like you've probably seen in a lot of different streams that, for example, the Eastern European audience right now, all-time high. Like, they are incredible. They are, of course, big fans of the guy on your screen right now and his whole squad, and they are rooting for them. And if we could hear them in an arena, we would not have been able to hear anything else, guys.
Every crowd loves an underdog too. Like, you know, wherever you are in the world, this Team Spirit team would have won the hearts of the fans. Wherever you go in the world, there's always a huge amount of supporters for PSG.LGD. You know, obviously a crowd is missed, and, you know, we hope to see it again in future years, but, you know, these two teams still producing amazing Dota with or without a crowd.
Yeah, so what do we want to see in this game too? Like, are there any heroes that we feel like Yatoro still has to play?
I want to see a collapse Mars. You talked about the IO maybe going through. Give us IO collapse Mars.
All right. Well, we are going to find out if we will get a collapse Mars, or what else will he play. We're finding out right now.
Team Spirit versus PSG.LGD. Grand Finals, Game 2.
Hello again, welcome to the draft panel, the second game of the TI10 Grand Finals, again with Seb and Noto. And I mean, Team Spirit, they took game 1. But I actually had a question I wanted to ask you guys. So in the first game, LGD had choice. They took first pick, and Spirit responded with Radiant. And in this game, Spirit had choice, but they actually took second pick, and LGD responded with Radiant. Why do you think that is?
I mean, there's definitely a big Radiant advantage, so no surprise that whoever gets to choose side will choose Radiant. And it does seem that now we have two teams that are going to keep clashing at each other's, and they're questioning the execution versus the theory, because apparently Team Spirit wants second pick and LGD wants first pick. And I think also the way the draft starts is another case of that. This is the exact same scenario of game 1. So this is LGD stating that, hey, there's probably something we could have done better, maybe draft-wise, but our approach to these games is the right one, and we're sticking with it.
Yeah. No, I always love to see it when you have teams that stick with their guns, and you could say that Team Spirit were maybe really happy with how the choices went down, where they might prefer second pick, or they feel like they're able to punish them really hard, or whatever it is. I think LGD always should be left with okay, now we at least know, like, this is what they want, blah, 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 and this is a best of 5, so this is also them going to be getting to know each other better. This outcome of this game is going to be super important for how the rest will shape out. LGD, they might feel something if they're winning, or if they're losing, there's always a chance that they keep going back to the same thing. But then, yeah, like this game, we're going to probably see, I'm predicting, Team Spirit going for something new again for Yatoro. I think they're feeling themselves a lot and are drafting a lot also on feeling. You also heard Heen talk about that. They're drafting on feeling. And you also see now LGD decided to switch it up, or kind of go away from what happened last game with like lack of AoE, lack of team fight, and they instantly lock in Alesh with the IO to give the IO that.
I want to say that, so Team Spirit, right, they really shook LGD. Like, they proved that they can beat them at their own game, and I feel like no team so far in the tournament has done that. And I was kind of sad as a Dota enthusiast. It's like, come on, like, if you're going to lift the Aegis, somebody has to, you know, make you kind of work for it. And Team Spirit did that, and it's awesome. And now we're going to see, you know, can LGD show us, you know, the level 2, the level 3, and then it's going to bring even better Dota. What I really love about Team Spirit they had the same opener open to them. They could have ET tied again.
Yep.
And, you know, they respect LGD. They respect them so much that they expect them to be ready to punish them for the same draft. So they know, like, you know what? We're not giving you what you think we're going to do. You're going to have to think on the spot. We don't want you to come to this draft with, you know, XIO8, 1 hour of preparation on how to do even better. You have to think on the spot. Bane Magnus. It's beautiful approach. It's mind games between the drafters, and props to Miposhka and Silent for pulling this one out.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. This is like a big mental game. It's always been, it always will be, but it starts here. It starts with the draft, and again, so many statements are being made between the draft, between the two teams on, like, this is what we believe in, this is what we're going to do to you now, and we're trying to throw you off guard. And yeah, a lot being said.
I do want to say that there's something very interesting in my opinion is like last game, LGD, when they play this Wisp, they're very much looking at connecting early with nothing to say. And connecting to a Pangolier that doesn't have the best matchup, it's hard. You know, Pango doesn't really have a way to take over the game. Leshrac, Wisp, that is scary. Leshrac most of the time wins his lane. He can power farm, he can, you know, like you start accelerating a Leshrac as a Wisp, he might take over the game. And I feel like with the Pangolier, it's not the same.
There's a lot more abuse to be had with the Leshrac. You can get the mana, you can get the Soul Ring, you can get like the runes, you can get certain mana abuse that also allows this hero to have a way different game. His timings are something else. Like this going back to base, this not being able to dive, Io can fix all of it for you.
He will take the towers, he will kill anything, any camp, he'll take the entire game if he has to. And that's something very beautiful. Another thing to mention, in my opinion, is we have not seen Collapse yet out of his, you know, trifecta, Magnus, Tide, Mars, where he's incredible on these heroes, and he's getting them every game. So he got the mag now again, which means, in my opinion, Team Spirit is going to be in their comfort zone. You know, they have so many cool strategies, so many cool lanes. They understand how to fight around these heroes better than any team in the tournament.
And I think you're spot on with the read that you guys have about Leshrac, because they're just banning to protect their mid Leshrac, right? We see the Lina coming out, the Invoker, and even now an Antimage. I mean, I don't know if that protects a Snowball. But when you have this hero, I think you pretty much want to play for nothing to save time. I think that's what has found LGD a lot of success in this tournament. And God, like, you know, they're not diverting so much from their West. They think this is the strongest hero for them, but they're adding on to that strategy.
There's something I think very important to mention is that, you know, the second phase, how it's going to go down. And like Team Spirit will have to pick the hero that's going to be kind of the pivotal hero. Like they don't want to show, and then they're going to start counter picking. And it is interesting for LGD to show the Leshrac that early, because no matter what, first pick cannot protect the mid matchup. You know, Team Spirit can just delay the mid pick for as long as they want to. In this case, LGD is like, you know what? We're committing to this with Leshrac. We don't think it's countered. Or maybe they think it's only countered by Lina and Invoker that can match the pace of what Wisp Leshrac can apply to a game. And now it's like they're happy. No matter what Team Spirit is holding for the 18 or the 24 pick, for the mid lane, it does not matter.
Does that mean you think that Team Spirit should pick their mid out of the phase just so that they don't reveal anything more about their draft? Or
it makes a lot of sense. Yeah. There's always arguments for both. Like if you wanna, depends on how you enjoy playing Dota sometimes, depends on what types of players you have on your team. If you see the mid matchup, theoretically, of course, there's many arguments for revealing your mid matchup or trying to address this and have a stronger win condition if that's what you're going for on your carry. There's also another way where it's like, yeah, you love your mid laner so much that you're going to pick your carry hero and make sure that this Leshrac is mid and make sure there's no bamboozling happening and he gets the last pick win condition or timing condition or whatever it might be. It all depends. If you pick Anti-Mage is out, but if you pick some carry hero here and you say nothing can beat it in the game, it makes a lot of sense too, because you want your mid guy to stabilize the game and he needs to have a really good start. Like the better the start, the better, because you're going to need him very early.
Could this be Shaker Morph coming? Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
So that's one of the. So you have these combos, right, that are very hard to pick, and there's only two scenarios in which you can actually pick them. And probably that's one of the strengths of first pick is first pick has the double pick, right, the Shaker Morph.
Yes. Yeah. There's that, and also you feel like quite often with this phase you might want to commit just cause it's going to be hard to counter, and there's this and that. But don't you think this Willow was a protect pick against this?
But potentially, maybe it was even a setup for the Morph. I think, like, the way I look at it is they're trying to take the win condition away from the Mag +1, and I think Shaker Morph has a way to play fights and scale into the Mag +1, in my opinion.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. I think I don't know if they thought about it, but Willow Bramble is one of the best abilities against the Shaker Morph. The Aghanim's, you can't just roll through the fight. If there's Brambles on the ground, you instantly get pulled down. I don't know if that's what they were thinking, but I also think, like Seb said, they're maybe threatening this Morphling to come up. And if they have an answer now they trap them. Or if they feel like they have an amazing answer to this.
There's many things about why this Shaker Morph here makes a lot of sense. It's not stoppable, drafting-wise. They're picking both heroes, in the same phase. You cannot stop it. Mechanically, drafting-wise, you can't stop it. The AA cannot be picked anymore because they have shown the Bane and they have shown the Willow. Meaning, like the big counters to the Shaker Morph are kind of hard to pick for Team Spirit. It's a win condition. It's a very strong combo that scales into anything. Very powerful second phase from LGD, and that's what I think why they are the best first pick team in the tournament, because they understand the weaknesses of first pick, but most importantly, they abuse the strength of the drafting order of first pick. They're like, you cannot stop me from getting what I want, and what I want, I think it beats anything.
Yep.
So from your guys' perspective, of the two drafts, like if you were in their shoes, which draft would you actually prefer to have right now?
It's a hard pick. I kind of want to lean towards LGD, but don't know how you feel about it.
I would say LGD in a way, but at the same time, I can also see where Team Spirit is going with this. A lot of people would say that Lash, Shaker, Morph are all heroes that are good against Willow, but I see amazing Bramble value here versus the Lash, the IO. You can break the tether, you can do a lot of stuff in team fights for the Shaker and the Morph, and it's a quick lineup. The Luna is able to hit these timings where Roshan is threatened, where towers are threatened very early. And Shaker Morph, they need a lot of time. They usually don't come online until 20-something.
So I'll make the case against. So Johan is vouching for Team Spirit. I'm going to try to vouch for LGD for what they have going for them. I think they're one of the best teams in the world, understanding how to make a Leshrac scale also through the Leshrac shard. They have abused that in the online tournaments prior to TI. And now this Shaker, plus the Morph, plus the Lesh and the shards, like the scaling, the stun, AoE stuns in the team fight later, it's going to be crazy. I think they have the Wisp, Lesh, as we talked about, they're covering it so much. They ban the Invoker, they ban the Lina, they ban the Void Spirit, they ban the Kunkka. There's going to be very few mid laners that are going to be able to deal with this Lesh running at you with the Wisp tethering to him, overcharge and whatnot. So they do have very powerful things going into the game. Of course, they have the pick-off, the map, Leshrac shoving the lanes, relocate, the Shaker threat, bursting you out of fog on the map, Shaker Morph scaling. There's a lot going on, in my opinion, for LGD. And yet again, you look at the 5v5, you look at the lineups, and you can theorize all you want. Now you also have to keep track, and that's why drafting is such a complex thing. You have to keep track of how the lanes are going to play out. Because if Team Spirit, they destroy the laning phase, none of that matters. The game might just be over minute 10.
So do you think they're thinking about a lane right now? Because in my head, I thought LGD, they were going to pick Rubik, right? Counter the skewer, but instead they go with a Nature's Prophet. Maybe a stronger laner into that Luna.
Very strong into the Luna Willow or Luna Bane. No matter how you look at it, this Prophet lane should be heavily LGD favored. And it complements very well what's happening. The Leshrac pressure with the Wisp, now you have treants, meaning you do get a kill, you get a tower. Prophet connects, Prophet ulti. I think it plays very well to their game. It's going to stabilize the game by, slowing down the Luna, winning the lane. It's going to connect to the Wisp and the Leshrac, and it's going to add to the global pressure on the map.
Prophet is also one of the quickest heroes, you could say, in Dota. You pick this, like you pick an Ench, you pick an Ursa. There might just be a different Dota game coming your way. You might not be allowed to play as slow or as fast as you'd hope because this hero adds so much dimension. And yeah, I think this IO Lesh Prophet, the timings that they can hit before minute 15, they can break this game.
And we see Team Spirit, they're trying to respond a little bit to that pressure with some outspan from long range, but I'm not sure if they have enough. Like I look at the 4 heroes from LGD side and that collapse, it looks terrifying, honestly, onto mid, onto safe lane, anything.
I see how both teams can fight. I will still put a lot, like if you take the laning phase aside and let's say that both teams end up with some farm and items, you have this, he's known for his skewer plays right now, and then you also have the Willow Bramble and the Puck. I think both teams can fight.
Yeah, and now we're going to hear from Sumi, who has an interview with Xiaowei about this draft.
Thank you very much, AUI and the panel. I'm here with Xiaoba from PSG.LGD, the coach. A lot of people were expecting your team to play a different team in grand finals. Did you prepare at all for Team Spirit?
很多人都觉得你们决赛对战的是另外一支队伍，你对 Spirit 有做准备吗？
我们昨天晚上已经把2个队的数据和资料就全部研究开会讨论了。
We've already studied and analyzed both teams' stats last night.
They are very, very prepared. All right. Many people have also said that Collapse's Magnus has led to many of Team Spirit's wins. How does the team feel about Magnus? Are they afraid or are they ready?
很多人也觉得 Spirit 的3后卫他的梦马就非常厉害，也是关键。你们会担心这个英雄吗？
我们有想过他们拿猛犸这个英雄，就是全是在我们意料之中。
We've already thought of them picking Magnus, so it's all in our plans.
It is all in PSG.LGD's plans, and we will see as we go into Game 2 of PSG.LGD versus Team Spirit. Lyrical and Trent, take it away.
Thank you so much, Sumi. And yes, Trent, we are here. They're prepped and ready. A very confident sounding coach for LGD. How are you feeling right now about this matchup?
I don't know. Everyone thought that every other team was going to be ready for Team Spirit the whole way through, right? Constantly doubting them, thinking they weren't going to make it, and constantly giving Collapse these big heroes that they just discussed, like the Magnus. So we'll see. Game 1, they weren't ready. Maybe Game 2, they've got a solution.
It's going to be so interesting to watch. I feel like this team has really just ridden off the back of the momentum that they've gained from the very early goings in the group stages, and they haven't looked back once. The thing that I'm really interested to watch for is if they can keep that up. Like, I feel like sometimes when you get in these huge matchups and you go up one game, Team Spirit now there, you can sense the victory coming, and I want to see if they can keep up that same carefree attitude we've seen from them so far.
Just playing Dota, just having fun with each other.
Yeah.
Surely that, that's got to feel like at some point you've got to be thinking like, oh, are we gonna win, guys?
Is this actually going to happen?
Are we doing this?
It's crazy. But we'll see if it ends up happening here as Mira spots out a couple of those treants that are trying to get a little bit of vision. So interesting things to watch for in this as far as a laning matchup is concerned. We'll see where that Nature's Prophet ends up at and how much pressure they can put on. Very annoying hero to deal with in the early goings.
Yeah, very much a discussion of timings really throughout all the games today. I feel like we're finding that one team seems to have a very clear, we want to do this at 20 minutes. And the other team's like, we just want to hang out and kind of scale.
Oh, Xingqiu going to have to back out there on the Shaker. And 3 bounty runes again for Team Spirit, just like last game.
I will say, I believe this game that LGD had a very good idea of what was going on. I think they completely saw that puck pick coming. I think they banned around the fact that, like, yeah, that's going to be left in. We're okay with that. It's a go-to hero versus the Morphling. I wouldn't say they're really surprised. Charlie Tokyo, obviously an amazing player, but, the puck not exactly one of the ones that's been, popping off the rampages here for Team Spirit.
True enough.
Those spirits tend to scale just like a little bit more, and you kind of lack that a bit on the puck.
It'll be something to watch for, though, if he can make those good rotations, as obviously the Nature's Prophet on Faith Beyond can also move into multiple different lanes. So we'll keep our eyes on it. And like you said, I think both drafts have like a very clear identity behind them, right? You got this Magnus that's going to start off the fights occasionally after the puck comes in. You've got the Morph Shaker as a potential danger later on. But it is, of course, going to be played on that support Shaker this time. So we'll see if you can get into the items at the same timing we've seen for the cores.
Yeah, it certainly seemed like PSG.LGD were very much ready for that, right? The Dark Willow came out, and then right away they're just like, yeah. We saw that earlier. We know. You want the Morph and the Willow. We're taking the Morph and the Shaker. It's pretty good, too. But, yeah, the support Shaker hasn't worked as well. So, a little bit close there, but Ame's all right.
He's going to be able to dodge away from that one. You could see here also a nice little interrupt on the pull-through that came through, and Faith Beyond steps over to the side. This, of course, sets up some free farm for the Luna. Normal laning shenanigans and the power that you have as Bane in these early goings.
Yeah, it's frustrating for the Bane too, because like you're so used to being able to dominate a lot of situations as Bane. Well, Miposhka now actually trapped in by a Fisher with the treants on top of him.
A lot of damage out there onto this poor old Bane. Can they run him down? A couple more hits is all they need. Not quite able to get that last right click, and Miposhka with the brain sap and the runaway. Xingqiu still might be able to run him down. That boots advantage,
he's not
but
careful. All right,
no.
good choice, Xingqiu. Good choice.
Keeps it safe that time.
But yeah, I mean, Bane, obviously you're used to trading favorably and having answers to like someone trying to pull your wave. But with the Nightmare and the treants being there, they actually have some counterplay here to like trying to set up for plays as well in the lane. So it's a good pick for the Prophet.
Allows him to play that much more freely. But you can see that Luna already off to a hot start. 11-2 right there in the top lane is down bottom. Y gonna take one little punch there from the Dark Willow, and a Fissure block off on the other side, but not within that tower range. So we'll be able to get away with some extra damage. Tango, as well as the Quelling Blade through, and he's fine.
That's a nice Fissure, though. Yeah. It's a pretty good chunk of damage on him there, just the harass. Only has a single Tango left. No salves currently on Miposhka. So, that courier, makes the call, brings him up, and it's going to be running with a salve in that top lane now. So if there's any chance here for LGD to score a kill, it might be sooner rather than later.
Too true. Got to look for that opening. Down bottom.
Really trying to pressure, too. They keep pump faking this Fissure up top.
I mean, if you catch him on the wrong side of it, it's going to be a ton of damage out with those treants. But even without it, right? Just the one Fissure and a couple punches from Faith Beyond, he hits really hard. They will be bringing over that courier now. Miposhka needs to make sure this one does not get sniped by Xingqiu.
Hopefully you're not losing it to a Shaker.
Yeah, true enough.
But this bottom lane, lots of harass being spammed out here from Mira and Collapse as well. But it's a Morphling, it's an IO. Morphling in itself a very frustrating hero to lane versus due to the regen mechanics and the ability to morph strength and agi, but comboed up with an IO. It's pretty rough trying to get a kill. But more players, they tend to go for some of these overextensions, so maybe he'll get a bit greedy there.
Right, and even, just the pressuring and forcing him to switch over attribute shift, it makes it a little bit harder for the Morph to last hit. So it's not all bad, as Xingqiu is going to make that big move over underneath the ward and going to steal away the small camp. How many does he get? Not a ton, but nothing to say. Able to sneak a few as well.
All right, interesting stuff there. It does sacrifice the top water room potential there. Well, I say that, actually. Miposhka
moves in. Toronto Tokyo going to be able to pick up this water rune and maybe get some extra pressure onto XingQ. Jumps forward, and there's the first blood. Toronto Tokyo draws it.
Oh, well done by Miposhka. Like, not even just, he basically baited out that rune, right? Let XingQ come in a little bit too close, get the first blood for Team Spirit, and they're off to a hot start in Game 2 after already surprising pretty much everyone by going up one game. I mean, I agree. I thought their draft was better last game, but, we just keep wondering, like, how long will the magic last with this team?
It does seem like just an unbelievably improbable run. To think that this team came all the way through in the qualifiers. We're down 2-1 in that series against Empire, and now up one game against the, odds-on favorites.
Oh,
Let's collapse, skewer, pull back. They do some good damage there on Ame. But he will not be under too much pressure of losing his life. He's going to get the deny. A little cheeky there. I like to see it from the morph.
That's a morph player. That's what that is right there. And, nothing to say. Maybe not a Pango player. I have some theories, guys. I mean, that was his, as far as I could find, mind you, I looked pretty quickly, that was his second professional Pango match.
Yeah.
Now, they played a lot of Pango when he wasn't available to play for PSG.LGD. And, of course, Coach Chava stepping in, playing a masterful Pango. He did really well. And we've had this discussion of, like, how he sort of controls the macro game to help these players so they can think more about their own heroes and their own item builds. And they have a clear identity of, like, what I'm supposed to do in this game. But if you're not experienced on the hero, that formula doesn't work so well.
True enough.
But he's got a last track now. Much better hero for nothing to say.
Very comfortable. Comfy time for nothing to say. And so far, he's doing fairly well. The early first blood onto Toronto Tokyo giving that puck the advantage as another stack up on those camps. And now, trying to scout for these runes. Miposhka just within vision there. And Nightmare. It's going to use a lot of mana there. And Toronto Tokyo gets the haste down bottom, so a little bit of luck and a little bit of good rotations, helping out Team Spirit.
Yeah, even threatening to have the TP in there, Miposhka will be all right, and actually just starts going right back on the aggressive. Will only catch a sentry, though. No obs taken away there. So we heard a lot of discussion actually last game from Insania talking about like the power runes and the strength you're going to have from that right here, and especially for a puck, a hero that's really capable of trying to abuse that, because you want to be making these early rotations with the Dream Coil. And it looks like not going to secure another kill there.
Yeah, I think it's an important point to make, is that you've got to watch so carefully on any of these other side lanes. If LGD overstep, they get a little bit close to a tower, puck could easily make that rotation and kill off a couple.
Oh, Miposhka gets spotted on the way out here. So did Sentry on the pillar, was kind of checking around, finding some wards, and then putting obs down by the Ancients. And there is a Sentry here on XingQ, so this could be pretty painful.
Oh,
he's got it, right?
All right, they see it. I was right on the edge.
That's a huge D ward. That was a lot of time spent from Miposhka.
And at the same time, LGD going to move in and head up top. Why and nothing to say together. Are they going to try and make a kill here onto the Luna a little bit far out? And we'll see if they can connect with this one, but...
This is a tower kill gank.
Yeah.
They're ganking that tower. It's not moving. They don't have to worry about it. Luna, she's kind of fast, She's got some night vision. Maxed out Lunar Blessing. But a tower, it doesn't move.
True enough. They're going to move in and
next
take
hero,
this one down.
Mercy. Can she just throw the tower somewhere?
It's a possibility.
Ideas?
Dare to dream.
Okay, that went down really fast.
Yeah, this is a problem potentially. The early group up right there and the fact that you can't really contest it at all. Yaotaro heads back into the jungle to farm up this medium camp.
Look at Miposhka. He actually got spotted there. He did step in vision for a moment. And a correctly drawn line here from Y, I believe, is to his current path.
But they did get down that ward. We'll see if that one gets taken away by LGD. As down bottom, able to go for the RP now, connecting on to Ame, but I don't know if this is going to translate into a kill.
No, they don't think so, at least. They're not.
Skewer.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, they bring in the IO as well, and that's going to be more than enough. Ame backs away perfectly fine.
Miposhka's just like, can I get something done here? My wards. Getting a little D-ward in here, just roaming around. It's actually Y, who's well known for being such a roamer, but on this IO having to play a little bit closer to his ally.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a change-up in styles there. We saw a bunch of that rotation going on in the last game from him, as Miposhka, on his Bane, finds another courier kill.
Yeah, for Y, despite being a 5-player, he actually gets often categorized by like some of the information scrapers in Dota as a roaming hero. We've been told by some of our stats people, just because he spends so much time going between the lanes.
Ame claps, facing off with each other. And just the focus right now on the farm, stacking up the camps. Ame again moves up to come and contest this and collapse. I don't know if they're really going to be able to do all that much to stop him. Very interesting, but Fissure up top. Now the follow-up, looking for it. Faith Beyond there as well, and this is going to be a kill.
That's a pretty stark difference to the 3 heroes stalking the Radiant carry. You know, they got to get this kill, right?
They got to get something here, that's for sure. Miposhka's waiting off to the side. Nightmare down, a couple punches, but they bring in the IO, trade off that Nightmare. And that's going to be more than enough for the moment, but why? Also dropping low, not low enough. Instead, they turn, find Collapse. One more touch is not enough with Faith Beyond. TPing in, they might be able to find him here.
That was the trusty shovel, keeping him alive.
Yeah, heading down to the south. TP is available, but Collapse in some trouble. Does the Spirit connect? Ugh, not quite going to be on the mark. He gets out.
Trusty shovel indeed. Up top, nothing to say. Zoning back Toronto Tokyo as he kind of came in to invade on the Ancients, but the pressure will stay in the bottom lane. We already saw how quickly that top tower went down. No point slowing down here for PSG.LGD.
It's interesting though, right? Because you can see that this is a dynamic that we've seen multiple times throughout this tournament. You have Team Spirit with a little bit of a lead, even though it's LGD that are taking down more of the towers. Just that stacking up farming mentality we're seeing from Spirit right here.
And look at the treants put out here. They're watching for Toronto Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
Because they know that everything's on this Dream Coil. That's by far the easiest way for them to initiate. So you just fan out your units like that from Faith Beyond. And unless they're going to smoke in, you're going to catch that puck.
And instead, they're going to find the Dream Coil towards the mid lane, trying to take down this Lech. Do they have enough? Yes. Toronto Tokyo picks up that kill. And with that, a 3,000 gold lead this early on for Team Spirit.
Bit of a theme, I feel like, from these two games from PSG.LGD. Ame did a similar thing last game on the Ursa, where he kind of stayed in an area which seems like surely, you know,
right.
He ended up dying on the Ursa in the top lane. And this time, you know, at least they got a favorable trade. They took a tower after that, which I think was part of the plan for PSG.LGD, but they were able to zone back on that bottom tower, shove the wave back out, and now even Collapse running in behind the tower, checking for a courier and everything down here. They're not willing to just, like, you know, give you the, like, take the kill and then just give you the tower. They're able to defend after as well.
Right.
Okay, but now that pressure is coming mid.
Mira, they're going to have to get onto the Brambles. Thought about that RP, but calls it off afterwards. And again, nothing to say in the mid lane, starting to push down this tier 1 tower with Xingqiu in tow. And why? They'll get it. It's so interesting to me, right? Because you think about traditionally what people think of these styles of play, and Team Spirit definitely going the more farming route in this one. You saw there for a second the last hits that Yatoro has. 135 compared to the 69 of Ame.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're actually spotted out here, but they're not going to have anything in time to catch. But that also comes back to just the idea of punishing that Dream Coil, right? It was used. You killed me. All right, congratulations. But I'm a Leshrac. I don't have any cooldowns. When I respawn, I'm coming right back. I'm taking that tower. But as you said, to the timings, like PSG.LGD, Y has said before, like, we love picking for scale. We like to be very balanced. We're comfortable going late because we think we make better decisions at that point in the game. And even though this is a pretty fast lineup from PSG.LGD, it does have some late game tools, right? The Morph Shaker, of course, if you get to that, can really go against anything at this point.
It is a little bit terrifying. You're not wrong. Actually queuing up the Dragon Lance right now on Ame. So obviously, you could maybe disassemble that later and build it into the Axe if he wants.
Yeah, we see that a lot versus the Luna, because it makes like a really nice little matchup, right? Where she's kind of got this like zone that you're trying to play out of and kite her just a little bit. Gives you that tank ability versus all this magic damage there too. Really balanced item to start out with.
So Team Spirit nursing that 2k gold lead, as on the other side, LGD trying to keep the pressure onto these buildings. Up top, nothing to say is there. The 4 points in Edict forces out the glyph.
Wow, that was a pretty easy glyph to get, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Didn't have to commit that hard at all. I mean, Collapse had already TP'd up there too, so I can imagine they'd like to go for another one soon. And as we approach, you know, sort of past the laning stage, we start thinking, you know, how's the Roche looking this game? They could take it relatively early, right? You get an early DD with this lineup with Nature's Prophet and Morphling. They might opt for it.
And look at this movement in before the Blink Dagger on Shaker. Oh, Nightmare by Miposhka to dodge the stun, but Yaro is still in some trouble as they run him down. It was good, but it wasn't good enough.
Toronto Tokyo's coming, but they are too tanky. I mean, you see these stacked up heroes, maybe you're, you know, sort of thinking about going in for the Dream Coil, but it's a bit too much. They're just so tanky right now.
And instead, they try and find a pick off here. Nothing to say. The rest of his friends a little ways away. Xingqiu making the move over. They're going to get the Terrorize. That's going to get the Tether Snap. And afterwards, the ulti coming from Willow, but nothing is taking the regen from Y. Keeping his core player alive.
with the wand, with the IO, this early hood into the Eternal Shroud as well. They're going to have some issues bringing down this Leshrac without the Luna being there.
Yeah, I mean, you just get blown up like that. I mean, obviously a great nightmare dodge of the stun that came in, but in the end, you need to get that BKB online, as we've seen time and again, and Yaro trying to get towards it now. As LGD starting to cut a little bit into this lead here. And also getting a little bit of free time right now for Ame to farm up.
Yeah, I think Toronto Tokyo is starting to just think about like his role in this game, what he can do. You know, Puck obviously pretty versatile in terms of the builds. Thinking about an early Aeon disc here. And we'll have to get out of this one. Even go for the a TP in there. Very nice play to even preempt that by blinking somewhere else for the TP. Could have set something up there. They also have the Orchid ready on this push here. So with the relocate in 5 seconds, everyone can be top lane right now for PSG.LGD. For Team Spirit, they don't see very much. I mean, they're rotating a lot of heroes to that bottom lane. I think they just have to go for the counter push.
Yeah, there's no other play really. And they have a glyph still on LGD as well.
They need this Blink Dagger and Collapse before they can defend.
It's going to be too much too quickly otherwise. And you can see getting very close. Collapse just going to farm up the rest of these camps here. While bottom, Team Spirit trying to pressure that in.
Toronto Tokyo, he's got the Veil.
Okay.
He's got the Blink.
He's thinking.
How bold is he?
This guy's crazy. We've seen it time and again, and Faith Beyond shows up.
He just wants the creeps. That's all he's going for here.
Oh, Faith Beyond spots him. The silence is there. That's the Orchid reveal, and he is mega dead.
Yeah, he's really greedy. It turns out. Oh, you know, you got a full creep wave. That's quite a bit of gold, too.
True.
But almost a certainty when you go over that play.
This does stop the backdoor protection, though. So this is going to stay alive a little bit longer, forcing LGD in this area for a bit. But eventually it will fall.
And already Faith Beyond back to that bottom lane to just push that back out, too. So very well orchestrated there from PSG.LGD. But the Courier, it holds the key. Ice Frog, little Courier, delivering a Blink Dagger to Collapse. So, you know, he's got a few more things queued up there you guys might have seen already in this tournament. The Shard, the Force Staff. He's made a couple plays. Perhaps some highlight reel ones.
He's been absolutely spectacular.
I think he needs a couple more this game.
True enough. Not if LGD have anything to say about it. They've also had a few highlights at times. And playing on that Earthshaker with the Morphling, you just know that there's pain coming if they're left to free farm in this one.
That's really the worst part of just staying in the upper bracket. Less highlights, you know, less games to play.
True enough, yeah.
Especially when you crush your opponent so hard and then finally being challenged now by Team Spirit.
They're up one game again. Cinderella story that hasn't died yet. And seeing if it can continue on here in this game number 2. The BKB is done. Taking a look at a few of these other items around the map. Collapse has that blink done. Xingqiu getting closer to his, has it completed as well now. So all of the big fighting items online.
That's a bit frightening. It feels so good because, like, obviously as the offlaner, you got to get these like earlier items. Got Bracer, got a mech, and then you get your Blink Dagger. When you're playing as a support, you just got that one thing you're striving for, and it's kind of unfortunate when they match up like that because, like, now it feels like your offlaner can actually play, but Xingqiu, like, this is an excellent counter initiation to have right now. With the way that their lineup's kind of set up, like, he can just lurk for so long. He can just wait on the side, and what kind of vision is going to catch him, right? Maybe an orb. Maybe you can take a fight at night like this and have the advantageous vision.
Oh, but the skewer back immediately onto nothing to say, but he's going to live through that. Nice jump out there. Xingqiu saving the day even under that ward.
I mean, they have Relocate, they have Fisher.
Yeah, they were super ready.
That is a tough one, but at least the Relocate gets burnt, right?
Yeah.
So that is something for them, but immediately into the Roche.
Oh, and LGD gonna make a bit of a sneaky play here. Did Team Spirit know that this is going on?
Where's your DD, guys?
They're gonna have to push. I mean, this is down to about half HP now. Team Spirit, it's really well covered by the vision of LGD as well, but they're gonna smoke up now. Can they get there in time? Aegis, it's super low now. They pull back onto Xingqiu, gonna try and take him down first. And they will get that kill, but it comes at the cost of the Aegis on Ame. No leaving it in the pit this time for any other teams.
No.
For IG, everybody knows.
At the very least, you do get yourselves a kill from that, but surely still happy, you know, Xingqiu. That's basically an exchange. Sometimes you trade a Roche for a tower. Sometimes someone on your team just needs to go and kind of feed to block out the smoke. And in this case, that was just a small feed to help things out here. So another game where, like, the kills have also stayed pretty low.
True.
From game 1 and game 2. Feels like teams are being very picky about their engagements.
So much on the line. It's incredibly tense for these teams. And again, you start to wonder how much the pressure is going to be affecting these plays. We'll have to keep our eyes out for it for sure. But Ame with the Aegis, another 4 minutes with this. And I believe this is going to be the Manta coming out pretty soon for him as well. He can start to play with a little bit more freedom here, potentially.
And currently they already have amazing vision in the top lane. You can see this ward just been staying on the high ground here. About a quarter of its duration left. Nothing to say. Feels confident enough to be up there. They already control the outpost since they took that tier 2 so early. Team Spirit, again, just forced to try and hold on and try and build everything up into Yotaro this game. Does, of course, have this buffed up carry mentality that we've been working towards in this main bracket event for pretty much every team. You're going to have the empowered Luna. But, you know, it's not the wolf fight. It's not the tiny. For Yotaro, got to do some heavy lifting here.
Potentially, they have a Nightmare and then the walk away. They actually relocate into this one.
There's relocate. There's Nature's Prophet. You know, it's very scary. If you don't have that really quick burst, you don't really want to take it right now for Team Spirit. But they forced out some rotations at the very least. They got to try and hold this tower, I think, or else this really wasn't worth it.
No IO save this time, though. That's the danger of the relocate. Nothing to say outside of vision. They don't see him. Now they do. The pullback going to be able to get that skewer. The vision not quick enough. And nothing to say goes down, now looking for more. Ame has to be careful, Xingqiu there as well. Oh, but Ame with the waveform through it. Brilliant play, Aeon disc afterwards. Now the chase, looking for more. Can they control? Do they have enough for the kill? The Terrorize comes out, but he got the strength form off. Faith Beyond jumps away, the skewer back, onto 2, and the RP! Oh, Collapse did it to him again.
And look, they're just surrounding him. There's no chance to help. You have the IO, you have the Shaker, but
there is nothing else left in the tank there for Ame, although trying to TP out, but the stun comes through right at the end. And LGD, another triple kill for Yatoro. And Y will manage to escape from that one, but a huge win for Spirit here in game number 2.
That is massive. Oh, what an amazing defense. And Collapse does it twice in the fight with the skewers, catching nothing to say. Like, you know, you talk about this idea with like the Aegis and like, what are you supposed to do with this Aegis? Are we supposed to push towers? Is that the goal right now? So, you know, should it be on the Morphling? You know? Right. Doesn't he kind of feel like the harder target to get in the first place, and instead you're sort of hanging nothing to say out to dry? Like, he gets one skewer and there was no chance to save him.
Yeah, I mean, again, part of that is also the decision to stick around after that relocate was used, because that's probably part of their idea behind it.
Yeah, I mean, that's your easiest long-range save, right?
Unreal. 5-6. And Team Spirit playing just absolutely great Dota.
Yeah, I'm sensing a smoke up Echo Slam here soon. You know, this is what you do. You lost your Aegis, and you're like, okay, guys, this is fine. Group out. We're going to smoke. We've got our other tools back. Let's go dunk on some people.
Xingqiu so often has been the answer and the playmaker for this LGD lineup. Whether it's the Snapfire or this Earthshaker, whatever it is that he's playing, he's making the big moves. So, 21 minutes in now, and Arrow continues to farm. I mean, this is the thing that's really scary, right? Like, how many times have we seen these Lunas just get completely out of control and then just walk high ground with an Aegis? And now it also feels like they have some of those tools with the Blinks online to actually win those Aegis fights as well.
Yeah, sometimes they don't leave that high ground. It just takes one sort of mounting up there and it's over. Part of the reason why they can be a little bit patient here for Team Spirit, but patience, you know, that's not something they're very well known for.
Scary. Invis. And then the smoke up afterwards. Team Spirit looking on the hunt. But LGD, sensing danger coming their way, will retreat out. Just
is he going to horn toss him again, Lyrical? Don't tell me he's going to horn toss him again.
Oh my god, he got him again! Trent, they did it to him as they find the pickoff. Collapse, you're too good.
What a smell.
Unreal.
Oh, they're so good at just finding that one kill and like waiting for this timing too of just this. They caught him on the zip.
They pull him back in afterwards. Why? In some trouble. Skewer a little bit off the mark, but the Brambles are there for round 2 of it. Team Spirit, they came to play on finals day. Taking down Secret, now looking to go up 2-0 in the series against LGD.
Meanwhile, Faith Beyond at least, you know, getting something back, right?
Yeah,
go grab that outpost, get it. But man, losing the Roche into just like taking over the map right now for Team Spirit. They're just having fun. That's what they say, right? They look like they're having fun.
They do.
Mavoshka looks like he's having fun. For someone who's playing Bane, that's as much fun as your face gets, I think. You know?
They're on top of it. Killing it. And we'll see now if LGD can pull this back. I mean, again, we've talked so much about the effect that pressure has in this lineup. In a lot of ways built to try and just win the Aegis. Not a whole lot else is going to be acceptable for them. And the sort of standards that they set for themselves. 5 to 8.
I love how you see the sentry they put outside the base too, because I had the same thought. I'm just like, where was that ward? Like, how did this Magnus do that? You know, and just nothing. Collapse is just too good. He just feels it. He just goes. At the very least, yeah, it's a lot of sentries.
They're all over the place.
And, you know, that's because they also have the gem, I believe, still, yeah, on Toronto, Tokyo. So they know that they're in trouble when it comes to the vision game, and so you get into this place where you're just kind of spamming them everywhere. And IO, you know, you heard our lovely draft panel, as well as Insania, talking about like the sustain and everything, and Insania pointed out just like how much more valuable that healing is on the earlier end, right? You know,
yes.
About trying to get as many of these mechs and these holy lockets as early as you can in the game, and when you have to spend on sentries, that can be a bit tough. But at the same time, you have a Shaker on your team, so you're making a sacrifice in terms of the goal to ensure that Blink Dagger is going to be there. Unfortunately, they haven't really gotten much out of the Shaker. A couple nice saves, but Xinq's still waiting for his big moment.
And it's tough, right? Because you have to sort of go in and make that chaos happen first with the rest of the heroes on LGD, and specifically Nothing to Say. And he's built all these items to try and stay alive. The Eternal Shroud, going for the Halberd, now into the Plate Mail. And it has just not been able to be enough to keep him alive against the big plays from Collapse. MVP in this game too.
And now, it's nighttime once again. So what do? We smoke. You got night vision, right? You have the advantage there. They're going to have to rely on the Treants from Faith Beyond if they want to scout some of these plays out. That is the vision that they have at night. But the edge certainly belongs to Team Spirit.
Absolutely. As they move up onto the high ground, Xinq feels like he's safe, but they drop down the ward right away. Xinq manages to get out of there, has that shard to create that separation. But again, a ward dewarded and taken away vision from LGD.
They're just going to do the sweeping motion here, right? They actually scanned ahead to see if he could blink in there. He's checking the high ground. Yeah. Collapse wants this so bad.
He's ready. He feels the moment, dude. He is so on top of it. Waiting for the vision.
Nothing to say, he's going so far back. He's like, no.
He knows. Fool me. Oh my god, that was close. Fissure afterwards. They're sensing it. They back out of their time.
He is feeling it today.
Came close there.
I mean, that's what's so cool about the spell, though, is that you can just fish.
Yeah.
You know? Sometimes you're not going to catch anything, and sometimes you get yourselves the big old whale.
You know what's also so interesting about this? Like, those two outposts are still held by LGD. They're keeping so much pressure on the map by LGD, and Team Spirit, it doesn't look like they're that interested in trying to take it back. They're just looking for those kills now.
Yeah, and unfortunately for them, it's going to be a very long Roche spawn, because that's kind of what they're playing for right now for Team Spirit, right? It's just like, we don't want to rush anything. We just need one more good fight. We're going to clear up this entire base with our Luna, and we want the Roche for that. So they're going to be trying to control around the pit. Someone's going to sit in there. They're going to wait. They're going to be very disappointed for 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
There you go.
And that's just time for PSG.LGD. So what can we stall for here is the question. Shiva's coming out relatively soon for Nothing to Say, but the Aghanims, that's what we're stalling for. So whenever you get in trouble as a Morphling, you look to say, how good is Manag's game is it? And it's like, oh yeah, right, we picked Morph Shaker. So we do have that going.
That's going to be the big window that they're looking for. Only 2 points in Enchant Totem right now for that Shaker. But can still be devastating with all the lockdown that you get.
Now, interesting things that we're going to have to watch during that, though, will be the fact that it's the Aeon Disc on the puck, right? So they're going to be looking to catch and chain and even just try and like go through that stats resistance while it's actually active on Toronto Tokyo and just try and like keep chaining him down because he's not going to have the BKB. And then after that, we also know that Collapse, he really likes these kind of cheeky items, right? He doesn't like BKB. You've seen the plays this guy's making.
There's the Aeon Disc out. Toronto Tokyo not concerned, just blinks away after the Aeon Disc is procced. And also getting that D-ward again.
So the question will be, when they come high ground, will you find this big Morph Shaker play? Are you going to catch these heroes without the immunity that they need to survive what is obviously a pretty terrifying duo of heroes?
Faith Beyond shows for a second. Collapse, looks for an opening, sees him there. There's an opening, the horn toss, the pullback with Skewer, and immediately gets the kill. Nothing is free, not even pushing out a wave.
That's the kind of punish that you need. I mean, they felt pretty free on this map, right? Because they are moving around as a single unit for Team Spirit, right? And that's why we're spotting some of these heroes just like Faith Beyond's randomly in a spot, pushing out a wave, Nothing to Say. That's why they were able to control the outposts for so much longer than you might expect, considering the situation that Team Spirit was in. But the punishes are free, and so they will go back once more for a disappointing look inside the Roche pit, and then wait another 30 seconds, and then they'll go back and do it again.
But look at this. They have that Aghanim Scepter done on the Morphling now. Puck also just finishing an Aghanim Scepter and has an Arcane Rune bottled.
They're like sending in Y first. Just these slow movements in. Ready to tether back off Sentry. It's going to catch both.
They have vision
They
right
know
away.
they're there.
Collapse. Oh, he doesn't go for it.
We've seen them go into these trees so many times.
Collapse.
I would not be surprised.
He's thinking about it. XinQ is back there.
Oh, they're just baiting out.
Yeah, they're waiting on it. And Faithbeyond, in the meantime, farming on the other side.
The Radiant, they scanned that pit there to no success. They're going to send in the Treants, though. So, PSG.LGD, they're in the know. They've got the Morphling with the Aghanims, with the Shaker, and a team that really wants the Roche. They have a plan.
This could be LGD's comeback here. Can they make it happen, though?
And how long can you sort of like control and force the focus of Team Spirit to be here, and what are you gaining on the rest of the map? I mean, again, they're fanning out a bit here, and you have the global teleportation up in 10 seconds for Faith Beyond. Yeah, you have Ame just farming the Dire Ancients right now, so...
Are they going to give up this
There go the
Roche?
Treants. I mean, they know they're in there right now. I highly doubt they just give this up for free.
Yadros is still inside here. They're moving over now. Faith Beyond getting some Treants out. Starting to move into position. They're going to lay down these brambles.
They're actually doing this so slow that maybe PSG.LGD are just kind of fine with this.
Are they really going to give up Roche for this, though?
I think they just can't get into the position, right? I mean, they don't have the best vision around the area. They actually see absolutely nothing right now. So, I mean, they know they're in there. They've sent in the Treants. But again, how do you get that initiation when, you know, you're so reliant on... You'd rather just fight on the high ground at this point.
All right, well... LGD give that one up. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them later. As Mira is going to push out this lane up top. Faith Beyond very close. And they're going to have to deal with their lanes, because this is one thing that's definitely beneficial for LGD is their split push potential. Faith Beyond, BKB with that Orchid. XinQ shows up. Yadoro up on the high ground. Nothing to say there as well. They have great vision on Team Spirit, and now showing in the lane. They're thinking about going. They pull him back in, and he is done. Can they go for any more now? They have full control onto the Luna, but Luna just walks away. Living yet again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he's thinking about, like, is there a buyback play there? Because that's a pretty bold sentry to place down.
On just like that, Team Spirit with Aegis in hand. Faith Beyond could maybe go for a play there, but Toronto Tokyo not showing himself, has the boots of travel to join with the rest of the team.
Right? They had the ward near the base. They actually saw that Ame was moving over here.
Oh, man. This would be such a huge pickup if they can get him.
The spider legs.
Walking in. They get him with the horn toss. Chasing down for more. Ame's done. Team Spirit. Everywhere they go, people die.
It's the ward game. You know, just spots them heading over there. That ward near the base. Lets them know. They chase it down. And now they go up. Will they leave is the real question. There is a glyph available for the Radiant.
True enough. They walk up high ground, and Yadoro going to start beating away, laying claim to this area. In the meantime, Faith Beyond's going to try and push up that top side, but they catch him right away with the glyph. Collapse, pulls him back in, breaks the coil. Team Spirit, they're just playing too clean today. LGD need more. They don't have buyback on this Morphling. They can't get 2 racks at the very least on the side of Spirit, but I mean,
do you need 2 racks?
I don't know. That's a good question. Well, maybe Faith Beyond is actually starting to take this one down. Now the jump in. There's the BKB. Faith Beyond still has that Orchid available, but the turn off to the side. Oh, great Orchid to interrupt, and that will be enough to get him out.
That was really well done with the BKB TV. It's like there's one answer, right?
Yeah.
Finds in there with the Orchid, so well done indeed. He will at least take a tier 3, so that's something, but of course there's still lots of time. You know, 2.5 minutes for a Luna to just run back to your base. She's pretty fast.
You're not wrong about that one, and can start pressuring down these other towers. There's no more glyph either. Do Team Spirit want to make another run at this with the Aegis? They're just so far ahead already. 10k gold. It does not look particularly close.
Yeah, the boots of travel there from Toronto Tokyo, so he's just able to push out this bottom lane. He can be there in a flash too, trying to match some of this global capability that's there from PSG.LGD, but they're still waiting for their shining moment of Morph Shaker. They are in this game, believe it or not.
Just haven't had an opening. Satanic now done too for the Luna.
Couriers just flying in everywhere, dropping off all these new items to Team Spirit.
I mean, Yadoro's almost 10k gold up on the next hero on the enemy team. LGD just don't have an answer for this Luna, particularly with the Aegis. And it looks so free for him. This is the path to victory for Spirit to go up 2-0 over LGD.
They got to guard this wave that's with them, though. Faith_Beyond has caught the next one. They're scanning that he's actually still there, so he's going back Toronto Tokyo. He's going to try and hunt down Faith_Beyond.
Oh, and off to the side, they get the vision. Tries to chase him down there. There's the silence, the coil afterwards. Still hits pretty hard on Faith_Beyond, but with collapse in the area, they're going to break the coil and kill off the Prophet.
How fast does he need to buy back is the question.
Oh, man.
Can they actually force it here? I mean, it's going to be a while for the lanes, right? That's kind of why you're able to sacrifice your life sometimes on Nature's Prophet. I don't think they can punish this simply by the speed at which creeps walk. So there'll be a little bit more time now for LGD. But what are you gaining in this time? You know, there's going to be a Scotty done, so that is pretty huge, actually. Scotty and the Morphling versus this Luna.
And
versus
again,
the Satanic.
I mean, it's looked so one-sided partially because LGD haven't taken that fight yet, right? And there's still going to be that window when they have the, Ag, Shaker, and can go in all at once together. It's just they're waiting for that perfect fight. Still have to be careful of that one on Team Spirit. And with this Aegis, you would have to imagine it would come soon.
Oh, Collapse, I think he wants his perfect game here. He's the only one who hasn't died so far on Team Spirit.
Absolutely carrying out of that off lane.
No kills, too. So giving, Such a charitable offlaner.
That's the way it's supposed to be, absolutely. Ooh, also, that Aether Lens for the extra range. So much range on absolutely everything in this game for him. But they're going to get set up again. Morphling sending in the courier. This one might get scouted here, and...
Oh, it's on the way out.
Oh,
nice.
With the Lucid Beam.
Yeah, using the Lucid Beam and
well
the shard.
played. That was that the Scotty? Oh,
yeah,
God,
it was.
killing that Scotty.
Almost 3 minutes of no Scotty, but it's okay. LGD, they don't actually see enemy heroes. They just see enemy creep waves. Right? That's the goal right now.
Okay.
The creeps are the true enemy. So that's why Faith_Beyond, he's not up top where the heroes are. He's down bottom where the creeps are. Just keep pushing them out. Keep them away from your base.
Try and extend this as long as possible and then force Team Spirit into a bad position. And, in the last couple of minutes, they caught up in terms of net worth.
Up. You look at this Morph. He just keeps climbing.
Will it be enough, though? Can make the most of this, dodge fights, and then possibly get another fight around that next Aegis. That might be their window with the BKB on Ame.
I think what's very impressive from Team Spirit is how long they have just kept this single ball rolling around together, and they're not panicking. Because a lot of teams, it gets to this point where it feels like you've been roaming around for so long, and now the Aegis is gone, so people said they fan out a bit and they farm, right?
Yeah.
Morph Shaker will punish that with relocate, with a Nature's Prophet. They will find you. They will kill you if you try and go out on your own.
But with all the lanes pushed out now, Team Spirit, without that Aegis, still going to walk up and hit this a couple of times. You have 3,200 HP on Yaro as well as the Butterfly gun.
And they have this ward on the high ground that LGD don't know about.
Collapse.
They have Collapse.
So often, he's been the one to make those big plays. They're continuing to push in the bottom lane. LGD hoping for an overreaction from Team Spirit. As they walk up, start to hit these racks, but likewise, bottom lane is being pushed in.
They've morphed in as well, actually. He's fully committed to the Shaker.
Terrorize afterwards, caught with the fear and the horn toss to pull back. They got nothing to say.
He's so far away.
They don't have a way to get to him. He is going to die here as they get the Fiend's grip off and the eventual right click down to death.
Oh, Toronto Tokyo in the back.
Chase.
He caught one on the way
Gets
out, too.
one! On to ZQ, he's in trouble now as well. They find themselves another pickoff potentially here. ZQ, nothing else left in the tank, falls down.
That's a nice play. Very heads up there from Toronto Tokyo, just not letting him just get away with offering up the sacrifice of the Leshrac, not just the goat. We're going to take, what is Shaker? Cow?
There you go.
We'll take that too.
Right.
Yeah.
They're keeping these lanes pushed out. And this is the only thing. We've seen a couple of teams, you think back to that Quincy Crew game, they were able to keep the lanes shoved in constantly and eventually win with an all-in push. And that might have to be what we see from LGD as well. Maybe a relocate play with Morphling or something like that.
No. Do not say that. I won't allow it.
You won't allow
Not here. Not some DD relocate Morphling.
There's a chance. There's potentially a way. You got to be careful of your Team Spirit. With this global potential that they have on LGD, anything could happen.
The last outer tower. Now gone. PSG.LGD.
Faith_Beyond AC done. And Team Spirit Starting to sense Roche going to be back up. 10 seconds. And with that, it could be the window to close this game out for Team Spirit.
All right, refresher or eggs? What are we getting?
I'm down for either. As it will respawn right now.
Get the eggs.
Interesting. Smoke up, though. LGD. Is this finally the fight that they feel comfortable with? They have been sitting on this Ag Shaker for so long. Or Ag's Morphling, rather, with the Shaker. BKB now done to boot.
Yeah, that's a good point, though. Maybe they get ZinQ and eggs here. That would be kind of nice.
You can see Team Spirit not comfortable just hitting away in the Roche pit. Nothing to say, walks in. Yadaro up front and center.
Jeez.
Nothing to say, they jump in. There's the control. The damage out. Mapochka's dead, buys back immediately. Yadaro turns to fight, destroys. Nothing to say. They've got him. Caught to the side. Ame in some trouble. Hitting from the low ground. How many misses are there? It doesn't matter as they chase him down and kill him off. A great win for Team Spirit as they will find more and more. Unbelievable.
Oh, the chase continues.
Yadaro just chases him down, and Echo afterwards trying to buy a little bit of space. Nothing to say, but Kill collapse, trying to take him down, but no, it won't happen. On the side, Toronto Tokyo will fall with a big stun afterwards. Yadaro moving in. He's big, he's bad, he's Luna trying to kill him off. The fear, the pullback, collapse, he's got him. ZinQ looking dead as well as they turn and hit. Another one bites the dust, but they buy back now on ZinQ. Faith Beyond getting absolutely shredded. Yadaro is too big as they catch him in again. The pushback, they got him caught and gonna maybe find the kill. Nothing to say, down low, dead. Another huge win, Team Spirit. They won't be denied. The horn toss catches onto ZinQ, and Yadaro just slaughter.
The way they play these fights, they're so in sync with one another. GG is called. They call it a Cinderella story. Well, if the shoe fits, wear it.
Unreal.
They look good.
And we got a crowd up there. Talent, very excited for this young team's present. They have been absolutely dominant in this one. 2-0.
It's not just the fact that they won 2 games, it's the way they won these games. The patience exhibited here is not something of a young team of like, oh, we crushed the lanes and we're totally owning this game. They were patient.
Yes.
They knew their timing. They watched for the only way for PSG.LGD to get back in this game, and they just blocked it out.
Unbelievable showing here from this team. The patience, the calm, cool collectedness, and now 1 game away from being able to raise that Aegis. Unreal. Very socially distanced crowd. You love to see it from them as well. As we get ready to go into this game number 3, but the man behind it all, Mapochka right there, captain, and keeping everybody with a cool head.
Yeah, well, the man behind PSG.LGD. What are the options now?
I don't know.
You know, you came in, you were the favorites. Everyone expected you to be the ones up 2-0 at this point, you know, for Team Spirit to be digging deep. He's got to come up with these plans. He's been challenged now twice. He's lost said challenge. What is up for game 3?
We'll have to see as we head back to the panel.
Thank you very much, Trent and Lyrical. Yeah, this game started with us talking to Zhao, who said regarding the Magnus pick on the side of Team Spirit, it is all in our plans. And gentlemen, the plan didn't work, Tico.
I mean, so first of all, PSG, they're very aggressive early on. They're taking top tower, taking mid tower, trying to go for bot. And then you see how Spirit, they kind of shift away from that aggression. They get up some aggressive wards. Again, Mapochka, MVP in all of these games just because of his vision. My glasses are foggy. They're now gone. But then you have the ability for Spirit to bide their time. And at 20 minutes, they then just turn it up, right? They get this shard of Magnus, and they're just going fishing. As soon as they see someone, whoop, come on over. We got a pot coil. We got a bramble maze on the Willow to go for. We got an Eclipse. We got an overfarm Luna. Yeah, again. I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to nerf Toffs after this. Like, it's insane.
Well, how are you going to nerf Collapse? I think that is a little bit more short term because that is something, Cinderin, that I think PSG.LGD is going to look to.
Yeah, I think so, honestly, the most important way that that Spirit are winning the games right now is on vision. So a really big part, it looks amazing when you hit all these horn tosses, but the reason Collapse is finding them is that they find themselves in good position where they have better vision. And I think a really key part of that strategy is the Luna pick for the night vision. So, you know, I think what PSG.LGD were thinking when they said they had a plan for this, you look at their draft, right? They have the relocate away from horn toss. They have a hero like Morphling who's really hard to kill in it. They have a really long range stun from the Shaker. So they have potential ideas that could work against this. The problem is you can't be ready all the time. Like, you have an idea of where the enemy might be seeing you, but every time you're caught off guard, you get that snap pick, and they just keep building and building and building. So my